Hello, every single one of you. Welcome back to the Rogue Room. How are you doing? I just cut the music really harshly just then. There we go. I dropped the volume down a bit too low, I think. We've switched it over to lo-fi to chill out a little bit. How's it going, folks? How's things happening? How have things been? Hold on a moment. I just realized something that's not right about this scene. Again, I keep doing this. I keep failing to do this for some fucking reason. We have to make sure this is present and accounted for. We simply cannot do the stream without that being there. You know, it's kind of crucial to the whole, sword lesbianism, whatever that means. What's going on, folks? What's happening? Fiance's on a horror/scary shit binge. What kind of scary shit are we talking? Video games, movies, anime, TV shows, music. I guess there's horror music. I've heard a few songs that could be defined as horror music, I suppose. How's it going, Smush? What's going on? What's the haps? Hope everybody is doing well. At least at the moment. I can understand if some of you have not been doing well for the day. We're going to have a bit of a chat about that. Katsumi Cat, welcome to the Rogue Room. Watching scary game playthroughs, that's interesting. What kind of games in particular? I suppose, playing a scary game, has that added horror element of you're in control to some extent. There's hair in my mouth and I can't see where the fuck it is. He's ordered The Conjuring and Annabelle. Oh my gosh. I've got hair in my mouth. Hang on. I can't get rid of this. Actually, I've got a mirror here. Because I'm a flagrant narcissist. I legitimately can't tell where the fuck it is. I think I got it. Dude, Jesus Christ. There was a hair in my mouth. I think it's still there. I can't figure out where it is. Which makes me, incredibly irritated. Anyway. Hello, Katsumi. How you doing? Welcome to the Rogue Room. Hello, Aurora. I've watched The Conjuring and I think Annabelle. Fox. There you go. Which Annabelle seemed okay at first. Or The Conjuring, whichever one. And then they just went too heavy on creating a mythos around that and making a whole saga of movies. And I'm just like, ugh, dude, stop. I feel like horror, to really be effective, needs to be short and sweet. The moment you drag it out is the moment it loses its luster, and then I lose interest in it. You start adding more and expanding on the world and explaining a lot, the horror loses its oomph, and then all of a sudden I don't give a shit. That's my personal thoughts on it. Good horror doesn't need you to explain everything in intense detail. Think Alien Isolation, the game was fantastic, but it went on for 10 to 15 hours too long. Yeah, I've heard it's like 20 hours or so. And I'm like, a good horror game should not take that long. A good horror game should be over in like the 10-minute mark. 25 to 30, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, there's a fear in the unknown, and when you start explaining it all away, like they started doing that with, I noticed, I started watching the Halloween movies. I watched up to the second one, and then I stopped. And I was going to watch the newer one, which was part of a new trilogy. And one of the things I noticed, the first one, is Michael Myers is seldom ever really explained as to why he is how he is. And then in the second one, they immediately start trying to explain his origins, and they immediately start trying to unpack him, and it just ruins it. In the second movie, and it's like, stop. Anyways. 25 to 30 is short for a game you'd play. I mean, I can totally understand putting a ton of hours into games like Skyrim and Fallout and things of that nature. But when it comes to a horror game, I feel like the experience needs to be compact. To really get the horror across. It needs to be just condensed. You don't need to pad it out. It's a different kind of game. There are certain games where it's like, they really benefit from brevity. Brevity is the soul of wit and all that. And there are other games where they really benefit from having a long, drawn-out, open world, kind of tons of side quests kind of thing. Certain games work for it, certain games don't. And Assassin's Creed, it really fucking doesn't. Stop making those games like 11,000 hours long and super massive. No one's playing all that shit, just so you can sell your fucking loot boxes. Hello, Croc. How you doing? Welcome back, homonyms. Lucky Games Long May for Horror do not explain why the monsters, just monsters. Yes, just give us monsters and blood. And yeah, like Assassin's Creed's also made by Ubisoft, which fuck Ubisoft, agreed. Pan Sassy, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Yeah, Ubisoft is shit. Hi back, I'm on. Speaking of, I should bring my PS4 in here. I've got space next to my desk here, where I could set my PS4 up. But then if I move my PS4 in here, the issue is my kids like to play it. And I don't want to be moving it from here out into the lounge room, back in here again, and out in the lounge room, blah, blah, blah. Every single night that I bring the PS4 in. No. I'll just buy a second PS4. Fuck it. I can't afford that. Anyway. Already love you and you've seen me for 2 seconds. Thank you, Pan. I hope you are well. Ubisoft. More like you be lost. Ha! Got him! Sound effects. I'm drinking decaf. This is my 3rd cup of decaf today, right? And it's good. It's nice to be able to drink a coffee without feeling like my heart's going to explode. But I feel like for some reason I'm getting some manner of like energy boost from it regardless. You know, I don't know what the I don't know what the dealio is. Maybe it's that psychosomatic kind of thing. Is that what it is? Psychosomatic? Not really. Placebo effect. I think I'm experiencing a placebo effect. I was hoping for that. Yeah, placebo. There we go. Ubisoft does have a genius/evil formula. Make one game, repeat the process for 3 to 4 games, change it in some seemingly major way, then repeat that process for 3 to 4 games, or make one competitive game and build on it for 4 to 5 years and load it with microtransactions. Assassin's Creed v Skyrim. I feel like this one's going to be heavily slanted towards Skyrim. Honestly. As popular as Assassin's Creed is, and I'm not going to allow additional votes, as popular as Assassin's Creed is, Skyrim has stood the test of time, whereas Assassin's Creed is constantly churning out new games like every year or two. To keep the property relevant. I get the suspicion, and we've talked about this before, the original Assassin's Creed was a revolutionary concept in terms of video games. Like, it was a revolutionary idea, but, and it played differently to almost anything I'd ever played in my life when it originally came out. However, I get the suspicion if they didn't keep churning the games out, eventually everybody would have just forgot about Assassin's Creed. At the end of the day, it wasn't that remarkable after a while. Or maybe it was simply the fact that in the world we know, they've continued to grind that IP into a fine powder. And as a result, we're sick of it. I don't know. So like maybe my perception there is a bit off. Whereas Skyrim, released once, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then again. But it has managed to stay particularly relevant 10 years after the fact. Todd Howard, are you listening? I know you're not listening, Todd Howard. I don't think Todd Howard watches my stream. But Todd Howard, are we getting a special gilded 10-year anniversary Skyrim Epic Legendary Edition? Todd Howard? Is that what you're planning, Todd Howard? Are you doing that? It's coming up. November this year. November 11th, 2021. 10-year anniversary edition of Skyrim. Ubisoft has made the same game since Assassin's Creed. The formula is Climb Tower, C-Map, and all the fucking collectible unnecessary shite. Yeah, exactly. This is why I call those kind of games the Ubisoft formula. And while Ubisoft kind of innovated that particular method, I feel other companies have managed to do it significantly better than Ubisoft ever has. Excited for ES6? I would be too, but I just don't expect that we'll see it before like 2024 at this rate. That is Modern Gaming for you. Skyrim wins with 4 votes. And in the meantime, you know, if anyone wants some, if anybody does want some Elder Scrolls action, you got Elder Scrolls Online, and you can keep playing Skyrim if you want. I sometimes get the itch. Sometimes I'm just like driving in my car and I'm like, I should reinstall Skyrim. Play some more of that. Yeah, let us speaketh to him directly using the holy words. It just works. Can we get some it just works in the chat? Mayest we summon God, Howard, by praising his holy words. It just works. We might summon the God himself, God Howard. Hello, iHunt. How you doing? Make sure Todd the God Howard made Fallout 76, but you can't expect everyone to be perfect. Like, I'm sure Todd the God Howard will earn our respect back in a few years. It just works. If we integrate the cube into our prayers, perhaps we can do this. They were right. It should have been a preacher. They can just get rid of all the big gaming studios. Majority of them are already poisoned with all the capitalistic BS here. That's not going to go away, though. At the end of the day, it's that we come back around to the 1,000 monkeys at 1,000 typewriters thing. If you have a small studio, if all we had was small studios, I was thinking about this today. Right, there's a pool company in Australia that, as far as I know, they sell pools, pool supplies, all that sort of stuff, spas and whatever. They're the most prominent pool company in the country, right? But there's a bunch of other pool companies around Australia. And if that one big pool company were to collapse or just simply not exist, chances are sooner or later, one of the other ones is going to gain enough business to start spreading their tethers, their tendrils, all throughout the country, and they're going to become the biggest pool company. And realistically speaking, that's what's going to happen if all we had was small gaming companies, which is kind of how it started out. You know, we had small gaming companies, and eventually they would get enough traction that they would become big gaming companies. And that capitalistic notion of let's do everything we can to make as much money as humanly fucking possible just infests it no matter what you do. You can't avoid it. Yeah, the concept of a pool company seems surreal to me as well, especially considering, you know, I don't expect I will ever live in a house where I'll own a pool. Nor would I want to, because it sounds like too much effort. What does your company do? We make pools. Explicitly a luxury item, which is, you know, the same thing as video games, really. Anyway. Not really what we were going for tonight, but... We'll start us off with this chill chat, and then we'll move on to the mental health stigma discussion, because we are going to do a bit of a deep dive on that. Just remember they're making a Fallout TV series. Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. The team behind the TV show Westworld is behind it. You saw season 1 of that show, remembered liking it, so you're keeping your hopes up. Well, that'd be good, at least. You know what I really think they need to do? Doom TV show. I don't know if they could, but I reckon it'd be awesome if there was a Doom TV show. I got a scarf, by the way. My mum bought me a scarf. Just gonna show off my scarf. Look it's a scarf. Anyway, Ghost of Tsushima was phenomenal. A game that didn't do anything new, but everything had been done before. That had been done before better. And same thing again. It's the same exact formula they used for... So they did Ghost of Tsushima. Spider-Man did the same thing. Horizon Zero Dawn did the same thing. God of War was a remake of Dark Souls, to what I've been told. I haven't played it yet. But PlayStation takes existing formulas that work really well and refines them to a mirror polish. It's like polishes them to a mirror sheen is the way you actually say that particular phrase. That's how Sony does things. They don't make original games, and I have been meaning to play God of War. I just haven't got around to it. I feel like it may have been on PlayStation Plus at some point, but I missed it. And I think it's also like $20 pre-owned right now, so I could get it easy. You know, I'm not in any rush to skip it or anything, but I've heard it's really good. But ultimately, what Sony does, take an existing formula and make it better than anyone else has ever done it. And they've done the Ubisoft formula 3 times at least that I know of. I think Days Gone is another one, more than likely. But Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, and Ghost of Tsushima are all 3 tremendous games. Absolutely phenomenal games that have used that formula to great success, and they're all Sony exclusives. So, hard to find truly original gaming content. There's no such thing as an original idea. Let's not beat around the bush. There is no such thing as an original idea. Everything that's ever been done has been done, and every video game that releases now is just another iteration on existing ideas. All we gotta do is like focus on the most unique takes on things, you know? And yeah, you're absolutely right, Aurora. It's to sell the consoles, not for the love of games. They use the IPs they have to great success. You know, to gain the attention of people based on, you know, our games are really good. Hey, Soul Reaper, what's going on? Wouldn't know since Sony doesn't really release on PC and have to choose between a PC and a console. I'd probably still argue PC at the end of the day. Literally playing a game where the concept was made up by a 9-year-old. What game is that? Hello, Voice Beast. How's it going? Who mentioned the Doom movie? I like the Doom movie, the first Doom movie. I do enjoy it. It's a guilty pleasure, that movie. Just have it the Doomslayer and everyday 9 to 5 jobs. OMFG, 1 million fatal guns. What's the actual gameplay concept, though? Because, you know, you're doing good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm doing well. I'm doing alright. Playing Overwatch for the first time in over 2-ish years. How many characters do they have in that game now? Remember, it started with like 16 or 18 or something. Not terribly many, and now it's like well over 30. Basically, an FPS with claustrophobic levels, but the guns are so fucking weird. I can list numerous FPS that have that exact same kind of concept, though. That's the thing. That's what I was talking about. Is like, yeah, you can do a creative spin on an existing concept, but ultimately every single game that we could possibly have experienced, it's very, very unlikely we're going to see a completely new original concept. I think, honestly, something like Superliminal is something I want to try, which actually does have a rather unique concept behind it. But even that still ties into like what you did in Portal and stuff like that. It's still just at the end of the, if you distill it down, it's just a puzzle game. You know. Trying to find friends on Twitch who want to at some point do a podcast with me, but so far most want to, but the schedule doesn't let them. That is the major problem with content creation, unfortunately. The vast majority of us want to collaborate, but it's almost impossible. Like, I just completed a group podcast assignment for university, and I hated doing it because it was the same exact thing, except we're all in the same fucking time zone. All of us are in the same fucking time zone, but all of our schedules were too hectic. Eventually we got it done, but still, the same concept applies. It's just, you know, especially with online content creation. Unless you've got a bunch of people who just literally don't, like, have a huge chunk of time throughout their week where they're not doing anything. I did used to have a podcast. Yeah, we just stopped doing it because it wasn't really going anywhere. Wasn't exactly where we wanted it to be. And we weren't doing too much with it that allowed the concept to grow. So that was one of the failings we had, though. It is fun as fuck. Oh, it sounds it. It sounds it. Oh, excuse me. Meanwhile, Ash still yelling at Bob. I think it's kind of amusing that the specific spelling of Ash, A-S-H-E, was pretty well known to like people who play, I think it's League of Legends or Dota 2 or something. And then Overwatch comes out with a hero with the exact same name spelling. It's like, what is that? Is that just a MOBA thing now? Just Ash with the E on the end? Why couldn't she just be Ash with no E on the end? Why'd you need the E? Over Blizzard? Watch, people. You wouldn't think the game would be so fun from the glimpse of it, but you just play it and you get sucked in. Oh, well, I've got games like that. I actually quite enjoy... This is the thing that happens to me with Valheim, actually, most notably. I haven't played it recently, but when I was playing it, I'm just like, I don't really want to stop. I'm quite enjoying this. Over Blizzard watch people? Yeah, one of them. It's not really Blizzard anymore, is it? Jeff Kaplan has just left. Blizzard is dead. Bury it. Just get rid of it. Anyway, we're going to talk about mental health stigma discussion tonight. We're going to do that sort of thing. I'll tell you what, with Left 4 Dead 2 as well. I actually installed Left 4 Dead 2 recently, and I never ended up playing it, so I uninstalled it again. All you do is talk about how you started and what made you keep going, talk about random stuff at the end. Oh, okay, I see. Activision, it is just Activision. The Activision Blizzard part, the Blizzard part, is not relevant at this point. What we know as Blizzard is purely branding at this point. Everyone who was involved with Blizzard during its inception has left the studio, has moved on to other projects, by and large. I think there's a few remaining stragglers there. But the company is now largely Activision, that's it. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And as a result, you're not going to get the same level of passion that the core team originally had when they were creating games, you know. I've been saying it for a few years, it's dead and buried. Same kind of thing with virtually any studio that EA has bought. You know, same concept. Big name companies will buy out these little studios that might have put out a really good project. It happened with the company that... What'd they do? The company that made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. They released that. We all had our fingers crossed for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, or like a DLC for 3 or something. And then that company, not Neversoft, a new company that did the remake recently, And after that was released, and it was really successful, as far as I know, it just got absorbed into the rest of Activision. Vicarious Visions, that's it. And they got, disseminated amid the company. So we're more than likely not going to see a follow-up to that now. And if we do, I guarantee you it'll be fucking dog shit. Tony Hawk, after, say, Tony Hawk Underground, had a very rocky go of things in terms of quality. Squad, the makers of Kerbal Space Program. I'd have to look into that one. If a publisher buys a studio, that studio is dead within 2 years, 3 at the outside. Even if they keep the name, the soul is gone. Yeah, pretty much. It's hard to keep that. It's hard to keep that passion, that original spark that made the good thing in the first place. Hey, I liked Underground. Underground 2 was fucking dog shit. American Wasteland had some neat ideas, but I hated the story mode. But Underground was alright. Underground 2 was fucking terrible. And after that, I stopped playing the series. After American Wasteland, I stopped playing the series. I think I picked up Project 8 very briefly as this is back in the olden days when Blockbuster was still around and you could hire games at Blockbuster. I hired that, tried it for one night, and I returned it immediately, even though I'd hired it for 3 days. I was like, I don't want this. Remember when Dragon Age was like Origins, not Inquisition? Well, I haven't played Inquisition. I've heard many people actually quite like Inquisition for reasons that elude me, but I haven't played it, so I can't judge that. I do like Dragon Age Origins, but I haven't finished it. I like Dragon Age 2 less so because it went far too edgy with its storytelling. But I did finish that one plus all the DLC for it. So what does that tell you about me? I don't know. There are people today for whom Blockbuster is merely an ancient legend. A time long ago when you could hire films, television shows, and video games in a physical store. I miss Blockbuster too. It was a good experience. It was fun. Pro Skater 3 and 4 were your prime. You had no life, that shit, and your family didn't want to play with you after constantly getting 2.4 million versus 10k. I remember those days. That was good. That was nostalgia. Oh, it's a different beast from Origins, yeah. Hire films. I really loved Pro Skater 3. Yes, indeed. Hiring. Or renting. I don't know what they called it. One of the two. Yeah, one of the reasons that Dragon Age 2 was a real letdown is exactly right. The same 3 to 4 dungeons over and over again. So, you would spend the majority of your time in the city, and then you would go off and do a quest, and it would be a dungeon you've already done. Snacks were good. Exactly. Any hoomst. I feel like we should probably move on to his dog shit. It's kind of funny how like sequels to games that start with D, Dragon Age, Dark Souls. There was another one that was another DS game, like DS as in the name of the game. It's funny how the sequels to most of these games that start with D tend to be terrible for some reason. Housemate picked up the remaster, 100k versus 5k last week. He was cracking 50k combos. Finally a worthy opponent. Dark Souls 2 is dog shit. Anywho. Is Twitch being a bitch? Is it? Don't tell me it is. Why is it being a bitch? Twitter was being a bitch today. I don't know why. But I couldn't post anything. Or I could, but it wasn't behaving itself. I'd have to keep liking the same tweets. I'd have to, if I wanted to post something, I'd have to post it more than one time, etc. Twitter is cancer, it is. It rather is cancer, isn't it? Seems like only half of your messages are going through. Oh, that's weird. I couldn't explain that then. I can see your messages at the moment. Twitter will cause World War III. That wouldn't shock me, honestly. And we're going to start tonight's discussion of mental health stigma and things of that nature. About, that's not the right. We're going to start it on Twitter, actually. Sorry, I should say. And I'm not going to show you the video. I'm not going to show you the video of this. I haven't actually watched it myself, but I can infer what occurs based on what other people have been saying. I might watch the video myself later on, but I don't want to distress anybody. But basically, there was a video that went that made the rounds on Twitter and other social media. I think it was on Reddit as well. Of this kid working at a hotel who was being harassed by a customer, and this kid had a mental breakdown. And I think he ended up punching the computer screen, breaking it. I haven't watched it. But it very much sounds like the dude, and what we've actually got testimony allegedly from him, comments from him on Reddit that somebody has screenshotted, and we'll get into those in a minute. And it seems very likely the kid's got BPD, or borderline personality disorder, and as a result of this customer goading him again and again and again, he had this breakdown. And yeah, screams neurodivergent, absolutely, yeah. Hello, Julia. I got a lot of stick for government being mentally ill. Oft categorized as benefit scroungers by the media and thus the populace. And we're going to get into that too. We're going to discuss not just how people react when someone is portrayed as mentally ill. We're also going to... how we see mentally ill people. We're going to talk about misconceptions around mental illness and things of that nature. So, one of the first things, I want to start off with this one. Oops, just knocked my water bottle over. And this drone box, which is sitting next to my PC, which I really need to, move that for some reason. I don't know why that's there. Anyway, let's start it off with this thing. First and foremost, here, I'm not going to play the video, but here's this tweet. Here's this fucking tweet. Somebody make sure this white boy don't have a gun. Haha, very funny. Yikes. So already, right off the bat, the discussion, and we've had this talk about the gun control thing a million times. Anytime there is a shooting that involves a black man, they talk about his criminal history or whatever it is. Anytime there's a shooting involving a white kid, they talk about mental health. And all that does is feed into the notion that mental health, mental illness issues contribute directly to, and in some capacities they do. I think there are definitely people who happen to carry firearms who have mental health issues. No shit, there's that many guns in the United States, undoubtedly. But all that says, saying something like, somebody make sure this white boy don't have a gun, is expecting and putting the onus on him. Putting the expectation on him that as a result of him having this mental breakdown, which he was goaded into by an abusive customer. I'm sorry, I'm peeking my microphone, sorry. I'll try not to do that. All it's saying is that, this guy's expecting this kid to go and shoot up a place. Peek the mic, go off. The reason white guys shouldn't have guns is the white supremacy. Well, there's that problem, obviously. But yeah, a lot of people have had, obviously, a number of takes in response to this. One of the big ones that made the rounds here is Tariq Nasheed, who has pissed a lot of people off by simply sharing the video. Video Vapor. Give me a second while I get my water here. Where is it? Anyways. He posted the video. Let me see if it's in his feed. I did miss you. How you doing? He did just post the video in his feed without any, where is it? Any real context? Here we go. This is what he posted. This is his response to the video. A white Holiday Inn Express worker has a nervous breakdown after he got scolded by a black customer because of a mistake in the reservation system. And I don't know if the video originated from him or if it was from somewhere else. But a lot of people are invariably pissed off at just him sharing this in the first place. Because the dude's got a pretty significant platform, 263.7 thousand followers. This guy's a service worker. Okay? Tariq Nasheed has a pretty significant following, at least on Twitter alone, right? Just on that basis. and him choosing to put this kid on blast for having a mental breakdown, for having a borderline personality disorder breakdown, which is heavily impacting him, has now put that kid in the spotlight for what a lot of people are going to see as an inherently negative thing. They're going to look at a kid who is losing his mind in that moment, who cannot control his emotions, who is going through a very serious health issue in that moment, and they're going to laugh at him, and they're going to also they're going to laugh at him, and B, they're going to spread fear about him. He is now the target of a harassment campaign as a result of this one dude blowing up this story, which has had, tons and tons and tons of people on social media talking about it. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Bahama Mama, how you doing? And up to that point, important notion here, Aurora, which we will cycle back to, and we might as well do it now. Chicken Nugget Destroyer, welcome to the Rogue Room. He was perfectly capable of doing his job, and in response to that, let me see what I retweeted earlier. I quote tweeted something. Yeah. Somebody made the notion. Somebody put forth the notion. Well, here's this thing. Let's start with this. Let's start at the beginning. Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning. I think he might have gotten fired, or he may have quit. I'm not sure. But according to this person, I have personally been in touch with the employee. He has borderline personality disorder coupled with schizoaffective disorders. The fact that this has gone viral has sent his life into a dangerous downward spiral. I have reassured him that he is loved. And then Tariq Nasheed just goes, "You made that all up." And then we come back around to this for a moment. This person goes, "I don't think they did. It looks obvious from the video that the customer put them under intolerable, unpleasant pressure, and as they had mental illness, it manifested." That was this video that was posted online. Was posted online is one of the most despicable acts I've ever seen on the internet. And then this idiot, this fucking imbecile, says if he has a mental health issue, then he shouldn't be working. And that, like you mentioned earlier, he was perfectly capable of doing his job. I have mental health issues, and I am perfectly capable of working. I have been in numerous jobs. I'm perfectly capable of working. But if something is to trigger one of the things that would set me off into a breakdown, then that would make me unable to do my job in the moment, of course. However, that doesn't mean he shouldn't have his job. And that's part of the stigmatization that we're talking about tonight. This is social media. It's like a Black Mirror episode. That's quite literally what it feels like. Black Mirror was never supposed to be like prophetic of the future. It's about now. This is why I use Instagram, because at least those people are a minority. Wait, what? What do you mean? Maybe we wouldn't have to if we got government help. Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I am very fortunate to live in Australia, where my disability actually does afford me some income from the government in that regard. I am protected as a disabled person, thankfully. I shit on Australia quite a lot, but we have quite a few good systems, especially to protect the mentally ill. Don't work if you got a mental problem, but also don't expect handouts if you don't want to work. Yeah, it's that kind of bullshit, And if he has a mental health issue, he doesn't have a choice but to work, as benefits are not sufficient to live a good life. Yeah, precisely. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Farquaad. How you doing? And not everyone can afford not to work, exactly. There are a lot of people exactly like this kid, in the United States especially, where their mental health issues, they simply cannot afford not to be working. So when you say stuff like, oh, if they've got mental health issues, they shouldn't work, what you're essentially saying is this person, it's either A, you want people to work to earn their keep in society, or B, they're not fit to work in society and thus they deserve to be living on the streets and starving. Like, these people are absolutely callous, diabolical kinds of people. And they use mental illness, and there's another bit about mental illness that's not related to this that we'll come around to a little bit later. They use mental illness as a weapon. They don't have any empathy. They don't have any compassion whatsoever for anyone who actually has mental health issues. They use it as a weapon. They will use it as a fear-mongering tactic. When these particular kinds of people express their concerns about someone's mental health, they're demonizing them. They're turning them into a villain. They're saying this person is batshit insane. They're gonna go crazy and shoot up a school. That's what they're saying. That's what they're trying to get across. And it's depressing. It's fucking sad, dude. Because I have known people who are good people, who are very genuinely nice, good, caring people, who've got schizophrenia, you know, who've had mental breakdowns to the point where they have been suicidal or out of control of their actions. And what they need is not to be cast away. They need help. And these people are so averse to the idea of helping. The stigma exists for mental health issues. You get socially marginalized as well. Yeah, exactly. I've had to deal with it at certain times. Like in one particular example I have with regards to autism is there is a specific attitude shift you'd notice in certain people, not everyone. There is a specific attitude shift you notice in certain people once they find out you're autistic. They change the way they speak to you. They change the way they interact with you. It's subtle at times, and maybe I can only pick it up because I'm autistic, but I certainly notice it. Yeah. Anyways. You lost all your teens because of people like that. Hence why you don't tell anyone? Yeah. Don't do that unless we ask you to. The right isn't consistent because their entire ideology is genocide. True. Self-preservation is a fucking bitch. Yeah. This is another one of the issues, right? Is, you know, we have this this concept in our heads that is, you know, taught to us, told to us, especially in places like the United States where mental health is so stigmatized. You either have the opportunity to let people know you have mental health issues, to know that you're struggling, and to know that sometimes there are going to be moments where you're not going to be completely in control of your faculties and all this kind of thing. Or you suppress it, you hide it, and you pretend that you are as normal as everybody else. And then if something like this happens, it looks really bad on you. We ask you to change how you speak so we know. Do it, please. If not, keep fucking talking normally. Yeah. You don't tell anyone because most people wouldn't even know what you're talking about. I can understand that too. There's a lot of people who don't have a good understanding of autism, especially. Ilium Gal, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? They want poor people, handicapped people, literally everyone that isn't cis, white, het, and fascist should die. Yeah, pretty much. If you suppress it, yeah, we could talk about spoons. Like, let's talk about the concept of spoons. And this, honestly, like, again, I'm not going to show the video. And this is merely I think it's a psychological theory. And the spoon theory is basically, I don't need to look this up, I know what spoon theory is. Basically the concept that, say you've got 12 spoons laid out on your desk, and doing a certain action will use a certain number of those. Take them off the desk, put them away. You know, if getting up to have a shower in the morning takes 3 of those spoons, you've now got 9 for the rest of whatever you got to do for the day. Some days it might take 1 spoon to have a shower, and then 2 to go to the gym or something, 5 to go to work, fucking whatever. It is a real thing. It's a real theory. Spoon theory is where we hit ableists with spoons in video games. But basically, you know, if you get through all those spoons in the day, you're going to be depleted. You're not going to have the energy to do anything else. And it's a 100% real theory. It's basically a very good simplification of the way we operate as neurodivergent people on a day-to-day basis. Some people can just function, right? It doesn't take them a ton of effort to do the most basic shit like getting dressed. However, a lot of us ND people deal with this thing where we have to just, you know, try to push through. You know, I could be out of spoons by midday. And I'm like, I'm not done for the day. And matter of fact, by midday, I've probably only been up for 4 hours. If it's 12 o'clock, chances are I've only been up for like 4, maybe 5 hours, if I'm lucky. And, you know, there's still the whole rest of the day to go through. And that's probably why I drink so much caffeine, honestly. Heard someone refer to it as number of fucks to give, pretty much. Spoon theory is when I try to get cuddles from someone. Only so much energy for the day, and every day requires a different amount of energy for the same tasks. Yeah, pretty much. You know, like I mentioned, you know, a shower could take 1 spoon one day, 3 spoons another, 5 spoons another day. You know, And that's, it is an oversimplification at its most basic level, but it also makes it an easily accessible way to express how we feel, an easily understood way to express how this works for a lot of neurodivergent people. And that's a theory, a spoon theory. 2 hours getting ready and dressed. Yeah, I'm about that, Anyways, so where were we? Let me find. So, a few things to come back around to this kid. We don't know what his name is. We don't know what this dude's name is. But Dylan Burns here said, you do know this guy called him an F slur before recording, right? So, yeah, again, Freddie Gibbs, whoever the fuck this loser is. Somebody make sure this white boy don't have a gun. You do know this guy called him an F slur. This person goes, is he doing okay? Is there an update or something? And this is apparently what this kid has posted on Reddit. All right. A not so nice holiday. So I think somebody shared the video on the public freakout subreddit. Each time deleted, it's affecting me past my job, which I don't even have or want anymore. I don't want anything. I want to die and be forgotten like I never was. So this is apparently from him. I'll read through these. I'm not good at anything ever. I just want to work with dogs. Dogs who give me love, respect. I love them. They love me. A few people have mentioned in response to this, we need to get this kid a job working at a dog shelter. Just based on that alone, he needs to work at a dog shelter. That's what this kid needs in his life. Doesn't change that I don't feel like a human. I feel violated. I feel exposed and vulnerable. His family, so the customer's family, is calling his workplace and threatening him and his life and everything. I will never ever feel the same. I am changed from this. Happiness will be so much harder to understand and find. Then he just goes, yeah, it's me, LMAO. That's me. I'm literally sitting drunk at that very hotel after shaving my head and my entire body and losing my goddamn sleep and sanity. I will say this unequivocally. The shaving your head and entire body thing is a real mental breakdown reaction that I have had myself before. A long time ago, but I did it. It's the closest, because, you're using like clippers and a razor and it's one of those things where you're just so close to really self-harming, I think. You're just that close, but it's one of those things where it's like there's a sense of relief almost in doing that. It's a bizarre experience. This video, there's your hydration. This video was taken at 3 in the morning. Okay, so to compound matters, to make matters worse, this video has been taken at 3 in the morning, and I've been awake since Friday 5 p.m. I'm not exactly sure of the specific timing, but that makes it sound like he's been awake for at least a day plus. Proof it's me here, I guess. Check my Reddit comment history. I posted a /u timestamped photo of me. I don't know, bro. I just want to give up after this and driving drunk and being destructive. So he was driving drunk as well, and, that's obviously not a good thing, but I'm not going to forgive him for that. But the kind of behaviors you would experience going through this kind of thing would, push you over the edge. I'll just get rid of my camera for a second. I drove drunk 30 minutes to this place today. They put me in a room because drunk driving is illegal and dangerous and bad. No shit. Because despite how this is negatively affecting my personal mental health, I had to say sorry to this property for this. I feel so guilty all the time every day for everything I do. No matter what, I'm always the worst. And I know these kind of feelings. I'm sure many of you who have dealt with this kind of self-loathing moment, especially when you're just, I don't think any of us in chat here have been as publicly humiliated as this kid has. And I'm sure some of you have had this moment where there's just such an intense feeling of self-loathing of, I feel so guilty all the time, every day, for everything I do. I'm sure some of you have felt that, right? You know that sensation. I've certainly felt it. And there are a lot of people who don't feel that kind of thing. There are a lot of people who just simply don't get that sensation. Pets are a better option a lot of times, exactly. Hang on, get my face out of the way. I just wish it could all stop. My thought, my voices stop, cease. And then I don't really want to read that line. I want to die, dude. I want to meet my hero Stevie Nicks and then die. So I don't think it just keeps going. I'm not even supposed to be here today. I just show up. It escalated anyway. His family is calling my workplace and threatening me and my life. harassing my old associates. I haven't eaten since Friday at 1 a.m. about 2 hours before this video was shot at 3 a.m. It is destroying me. I wanted to say I'm sorry, though past this point I can't make it right, and he still wouldn't hear me. I drove to work drunk today. At 7 a.m. I show up just whatever. I haven't picked up alcohol in a year, so this broke his sobriety. I'm destroyed, still drunk and want to die, but that's okay. Everyone does. Imagine people calling your workplace while you're not even there, threatening your life. That's what I'm going through because I'm schizo-affected. It just keeps going. And yeah, he's asking people to delete the videos. Family's calling my hotel and threatening us daily. I don't want to live like this. Didn't because they want to keep me because they know I'm right and he's wrong. Why call me an F-slur 1 minute before this and then record after harassing me like this? What else we got? And then he posted to /help me. Drunk driving and still awake after 3 days. I basically went viral because of my schizoaffective disorder.
I see you've brought
Kiara, welcome to the raid.
Welcome
to the
friend.
Thank you for the raid. Sorry, you know what I mean. We're talking about this dude who's had a bad run of things. How was your stream? How'd you go? Tell us all about it. And then, I think he's basically told us this is just a sum up of everything he's already said. Need to live for my dogs, Ellie and Joel. Ellie and Joel, it's kind of cute. There you go, Fox. Because I love them with all of my heart and couldn't bear parting with them early and have them wonder why I didn't come home. So yeah, it's a very heavy situation and a very clear demonstration of the way that this has been, the way this kind of stigmatization is affecting people, right? The way that the internet, invariably we're seeing a lot of positivity towards this kid, thankfully. But I do not doubt, especially with this dude who posted the original thread about somebody make sure this white boy don't have a gun. I know there's guaranteed to be more people who are saying that kind of shit, and that's definitely going to get to you. You forgot what you talked about. Oh well, sometimes that just means that sometimes that just means it was a good chat. Could have been a good chat. It is heavy stuff, and it's not going to stop, Hate how the top reply was that quartering scumbag started a GoFundMe. I did hear that. I don't know what to make of that particular situation. But at any rate, I hope this dude is okay. And there is an article about this whole thing that might give us some further context. Let's just have a gander here at rt.com. This is the thing, okay? This is the thing about Tariq Nasheed. We come back around to Tariq Nasheed. Self-proclaimed race baiter posts video of white hotel clerk having breakdown after being scolded by black customer. I don't know why it's in quotes like that. Let me just quickly, before I forget, let's run ads really quickly. A broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah, that's the thing. We're just running ads so we don't have ads for the next segment. I forgot to run ads. I got off on a tangent there, so, And the important thing that we're trying to take away from this, we're not just, trying to bring everybody's fucking emotions down. We're trying to talk about how people just outright destroy another person's mental health. If he already had the breakdown in response to just this person abusing him, was it multiple people? It might have been multiple people. Just this, this customer abusing him to the point of having a breakdown. And from what it sounds like this person was doing it on purpose, calling him the F-slur, and it sounds like he was being really just abusive to start off with before starting to record. It definitely sounds like the recorder was looking for that public freak-out moment that they could post online and get a bit of viral fame off. And to this point, I don't think we even know who it is that recorded it. But the video itself went viral, and this kid has been turned into an icon for something he didn't want, So being abused face-to-face is bad enough. Having the internet seeing it, having the internet seeing your reaction has got to be intensely destructive. The internet opened the human soul and it shows the ultimate in cruelty. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely it did. Watched the video and it started off very abruptly at a point where there's already been something going on previously. Exactly. I am fully... I'm going to have to watch the video later for further context. I didn't watch it earlier because that stuff can be kind of triggering. That's why I haven't played it on stream. I don't want to play it on stream. Because talking about it alone is already very triggering for a lot of people. But that's the point of the, that's the whole point of this discussion. It's the old turf strategy, isn't it? Stir up some shit, then film when people are acting in self-defense. Exactly. It's why a few years ago, there were so many, like, screechy, colored hair feminists acting angry. Because people would go to, like, protests or whatever and antagonize the shit out of them until they would respond. And then they would post those videos online. Look at this screechy, annoying feminist. Or whatever else. Screechy SJW. Because they would goad them into it. Yeah. Chuds always side with trolls since neither have any morals. Exactly. Made you very uncomfortable, like it's a bit disturbing since you see a whole ass mental breakdown. Yeah. I don't know how people manage to watch this shit routinely as a gag, as a giggle. It's a bit of a, yeah, I'm gonna watch some people losing their fucking minds. That sounds funny. Why do people enjoy that? Don't understand why we humans choose to go down that cruelty path rather than being constructive and helpful. Because a lot of people never got the shit kicked out of them in school for being a bully. There are a lot of people who grew up as bullies and then never got told, hey, that's not a good thing you should be doing. Or they never got their fucking head punched in to the point where it knocked their brains into the right configuration. There are a lot of, and it's just bullying begets bullying, abuse begets abuse. Nobody told them not to be a cunt. And they just grew up thinking that that was the way you could behave. Grew up thinking that's the way you treat other people. You know? Sometimes even teachers join in on the bullying, yeah. It's cyclical. There's a whole ton of negative factors that feed into people, and I've been around these kinds of people in social situations where they will talk about how much they will either talk with such intense hatred about other people, or talk about what they would do to certain types of people, talk about blah, 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 you get the point. They talk so negatively, and that's its own mental health issue, honestly. The sheer level of near sociopathy that some people experience. They just dehumanize other people around them. They think it's protagonist syndrome at the end of the day. Shitty Pants Bennett is so good at being so bad. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm a pacifist with a sword, mind you. That's why you actively avoid having to journey plan people younger than 50 years old. People have called you under the sun from C to F to R's, but they don't live stream it, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Why you get into moods where you hope for our extinction? Yeah, bring it on. I'm a bit nihilistic at this point. Anyways, where were we? NPCs are usually the most interesting characters. So US filmmaker Tariq Nasheed has stirred Twitter anger by sharing a controversial video showing a receptionist who caved in under an angry customer's pressure, and by making it about the skin colors of the two people involved. That's the main takeaway here. Tariq has got this big slant about anti-black racism. Like he will, and it was demonstrated here that there were people who were angry at him for sharing this video, and he tried to turn it into a racist thing. Nasheed lived up to his Twitter account bio, which describes him as the world's #1 race baiter, though not in the I bait racists and exposes them sense that he aspires to. On Sunday, he posted a video showing a tense standoff between a receptionist apparently working for the Holiday Inn Express and an angry customer unhappy with some issue about the hotel reservation system. The video, which was filmed by the customer, quickly goes into an unexpected direction when the employee has an explosive reaction to the continued complaints. He hits himself in the head repeatedly and walks away in clear distress, sobbing, "You've ruined my whole life, man." The cameraman responds with a, "Wow, you've got to be kidding me." Go play in traffic, cameraman. Anyway, the video has been circulating on some small websites and shared over the past several days by people interested in spectacles of public humiliation. Ew. Before Nasheed chose to post it for his audience of over 260,000 to see. The film producer and social media commentator was stressed that the employee was white while the aggrieved customer was black. So in the instance here where the customer who was angry at the receptionist is black, what narrative is he trying to push there? If you've got a customer angry at server staff, the customer is never right, by the way. Fuck the customer. What's the narrative he's trying to push there? Aside from the fact that one of them is white and one of them is black, and in this circumstance, the aggressor is black. What's the narrative that Tariq Nasheed desperately wants to put out there into the world? Is he trying to make it so that the customer is somehow the victim in this circumstance? Ultimately, at the end of the day, neither of their races fucking matter. You can't really see the person filming either, but I guess they assume by his voice. Well, you could. Transphobic headline on the right, by the way. What about old school gay rights activists under fire from furious transgender activists for daring to set up a charity that excludes them? Oh God. We can come back around to that on a different website. There are other articles. The post, however, didn't go down well. Many people lashed out against Nasheed, which is exactly what he wanted at the end of the day. And whoever shared it online in the first place, the reaction of the employee resembles that of a person with a neurodevelopmental disorder that makes social interactions difficult. So many commenters refused to see the situation as white guy cannot handle black man defending his rights, and took it more along the lines of bully harasses autistic kid doing an ungrateful job and gloats about it online. Yeah, I don't know if there's any verification that this kid's autistic. There was certainly mention of him having schizoaffective disorder and potentially BPD. I don't know about autistic specifically. The guy filming should have stopped and not uploaded this. This is bullying. I see it often. People frustrated with the world going and taking out their frustrations on the service industry, which you should never fucking do. Yeah, fuck the customer, agreed. Because they know these people have no choice but to take it. He was probably one of many that day, pushes the poor guy past his breaking point. This young man is suffering from self-harm. He's hitting himself because this was his way of dealing with bad feelings or thoughts. This job is stressful for him. He needs to work at a library or any job that's a slow pace, like we mentioned earlier. And yeah, it's not immediately clear where or when the video was filmed and what the initial conflict was about. Some earlier postings suggest the customer had been overcharged by $600 for his stay at the hotel. And like we mentioned earlier, the kid needs a job working at an animal shelter, needs a job working at a dog shelter. He loves dogs. Some dog shelter needs to reach out to him and just be like, listen, sounds to us like you love dogs. Well, we've got dogs, and you can help us look after the dogs. That's what he needs. I don't know what his name is, but if there is a dog shelter anywhere near this kid, somebody set him up with a job taking care of puppies. That's what he needs. That is what this kid fucking needs. Dog shelter job. We got dogs that need your love. Exactly. Don't get how that relates to right-wing theft murder and lefts defending themselves from that murder. Anyways, look at this, and it's why the now dead website Rockstar Hip Hop was pretty terrible and will post anything, including people being gang beaten. The argument is that the worker was racist due to the issue in the reservation system, and his breakdown was due to a black person asserting their rights. I see. I mean, yeah, that could possibly be what Tariq's particular perspective was on it. And like, I'm gonna say something now that's a little bit saucy, a little bit spicy, a little bit of a hot, spicy take here. I'm all for, anti-racism. I'm all for fighting racism. But there are certainly people like Tariq, and obviously it's in his bio, he does this shit on purpose, who are intentionally divisive and use every single avenue they can to make an issue about race. That's not most people. Certainly not. But there are a lot of people out there who will look at any given opportunity and nitpick every single possible chance they can to make it racist, even when it's not. Spicy take. I know. Crazy. It's people who want to see the world, but yeah, Candace Owens is a good example of it as well. That fucking streamer who fucked off to YouTube and turned into an absolute rightoid, who I'm not going to name because she's a cunt. Anyway, the job isn't the issue. Clearly customers being really terrible people are. Exactly. Pro-capitalist liberal who is fine with discrimination on other aspects of people's identity. Yeah, I noticed his name comes up as red on Twitter, for the record, which means he probably has some fucking spicy takes on trans people. We're not going to go into that tonight. Yeah. Anyway. But anyway, the Holiday Inn employee video I posted that went viral has a lot of white supremacists using the man's disorder as a way to project their anti-black racism. We didn't actually read this tweet. He admitted he had a disorder, but he also had admitted he was drunk on the job. No, he didn't. He admitted after he had left the job. I don't think it was ever confirmed whether he was fired or if he quit, but he was not drunk on the job. He never said he was drunk on the job. So did that contribute to his breakdown? Again, just, doing everything. Super pro-USA kind of person as well. Just take the L, dummy. It's not okay to be a literal Karen. He was so... Oh, yeah, this thread is good. This thread is good. Just basically, breaks down everything we know. The guy was sober when he was harassed, hadn't drunk in over a year. He was attacked for far longer than the video shows, called homophobic slurs, etc. The guy is great at his job. He tried to be kind and helpful, but the customer kept attacking relentlessly, pushing him. That customer laughed while he had the breakdown. The customer and his family kept attacking, calling and threatening him, his family, and his workplace. ND or not, no one deserves prolonged verbal abuse. His reaction, hitting himself, is far more typical of neurodivergence than being a junkie. Regardless, this is not the point. This guy was trying to be helpful, he was doing his job correctly. The customer just wanted to keep pushing and fishing for a reaction. You clearly don't care about finding the truth here, you only want to demonize him. You make me sick. Thankfully, over 10k have been raised to help the guy, which again comes back around to the quartering. A lot of people have been talking about how the quartering set up a GoFundMe, so take that with a grain of salt, but which is delightful and hopefully counteracts some of the damage Tariq and that garbage customer have done. What made me most happy, however, is the number of black people who have condemned Tariq, because again, this dude's an absolute race baiter. Absolute race baiter, and he admits it. He self-admits that he wants to incite racial hatred. I wouldn't be surprised if you called them white supremacists as well. You are a despicable, vile trash bag, and I'm glad people of all colors see it. The best way to defeat a disease like Tariq is by starving it of its fuel. Well, shit, I'm giving him attention right now. Instead, use your attention to share the GoFundMe page created for the guy, or if you have a means, consider donating. Excuse me. Tariq does not bring a bad name to black people, he brings a bad name to humans. What brings me peace is that people like him unite everyone in their rejection of what he represents. Also, look up universal basic income. All humans deserve to live without fear of poverty. Bingo, fucking bango. Peace. Anyways, and yeah, what brings me peace is people like, I forget who it was saying this earlier. Somebody mentioned the point that, Tariq Nasheed is the answer to all of the political division in the world right now. Everyone can seemingly unite to hate Tariq Nasheed. Yeah, he could be a junkie, and that's still irrelevant at the end of the day. Hello, Sammy. How you doing? Anyways, identity politics is the distraction from the huge problems that are facing us. Exactly, yeah. And that could be an argument on all sides, really. Yeah, the person with the list. Universal basic income ends slavery. I followed this person. Go follow them as well. Some anonymity. At some anonymity. Here's their ad if you want it. It's that posted that as an in-chat thing. Anyway, as if I was tagging an actual person in my chat, which I'm not. At any rate, what was I saying? Oh, okay. Sabercat has sent me a video that Tariq is more ludicrous than I realize. I might... Yeah, maybe... They said I should watch this off stream. Should we watch it off stream? Probably watch it off stream. Here's the thing. Shoe on head tweet. Idpol will almost always be used as a weapon to defend the elite. More universally, yes. Hate how someone like the quartering agrees with us on this, but from a white libertarian politics point of view, which is yucky. White identitarian politics, sorry. I haven't watched his take on it. This is my take on it. Anyway, at the end of the day. Welcome back, Reaper. Who is the quartering? A chud. Is he a chud? Is that what a chud is? I don't know. He seems like a bit of a wanker. As far as I know, he's like a pro-GG type. I haven't watched anything today. I've been busy as all fuck. Oops, excuse me. An alt-right reactionary based in video games aesthetic, yeah. He tends to talk a lot about how outraged he is that Captain Marvel exists, for example. She would have made a 1 million view vid on the kid 5 years ago. Yeah, quartering ID poll. I haven't consumed any of his content. I don't intend to. Anywho. We've seen what this kind of shit can do. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. His big claim to fame was getting a big MTG cosplayer to quit cosplaying over harassment. Oh, lovely. That's what we need to hear. Let's have a look at some things. Let's open up some discussion around actual mental health issues. Because it wasn't really supposed to be particularly about the politics of the situation. More so the fact that this kid was harassed into a mental breakdown, and there's no justification for that. And there's no justification for dragging this kid's face all over the internet to spread your agenda. Tariq Nasheed. Anyway, Watched a few of his vids, then found Review Tech USA to be a bit more reasonable and didn't come off as unhinged. So there are two things that are going on here. One of the first things, what's this we've got? Another tweet relating to this? Bro, please shut the fuck up. Yes, absolutely. What did you do? I bullied someone into submission. Wow, you're a cunt. Let's talk about schizoaffective disorder, which the kid claims to have had, and I would believe him. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't just have these kind of breakdowns without having a pre-existing mental health condition, which, I mean, I think Vosh did have a take on this. But I'd have to dig through like a mountain of tweets. He's like me. He's just on Twitter all the fucking time. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, here's the tweet that I mentioned earlier. Tariq Nasheed is the key to political unity. Everyone hates him. And again, like here's one that he retweeted about the I'm just going through his profile now, looking at tweets related to this. I'm sorry, but why is a video of someone harassing an autistic kid being posted to the Bird app under the premise of a fucking racial issue? Watching everyone converge on the pieces of shit who cheered for the harassment of that poor boy having a mental breakdown has been incredibly satisfying. This is like my own reasoning for not even playing the video. I'm not going to share the video again because I'm sure you've all seen it by now, but videotaping an extremely underpaid employee very obviously having a mental breakdown, a mental health crisis at work, and purposely provoking him is just absolutely disgusting. And yeah, it's like I don't want to show the video simply for the fact that it is a really disturbing, disgusting kind of situation, and no one should have to go through that. So let's talk a little bit about schizoaffective disorder for a bit, shall we? Part of the Hotep group, people who rewrite history and turn everyone from Shakespeare to the Greek philosophers being all African, and added to that is the Nation of Islam stuff with a total misunderstanding of what and where melanin comes from. It's a real rabbit hole of lunacy like Scientology or Joseph Smith. We could look at it. I missed your flex. Us, there you go, get one. So what happened in the video? Yes, customer service being treated like shit. Being treated like shit prior to the video. Then the kid starts having a breakdown, hitting himself in the head, smashing his computer. And the customer thinks it's a brilliant idea to record this and share it on the internet. And now it's a whole thing, and the kid is going through a very serious episode. Because abusing service workers is just a fun pastime for these kinds of sociopaths. Let's talk about schizoaffective disorder, shall we? We are talking about this. Let's talk about, he said he had schizoaffective disorder, which is a mental health disorder that is marked by a combination of schizophrenia symptoms, such as hallucinations or delusions, and mood disorder symptoms, such as depression or mania. The two types of schizoaffective disorder, both of which include some symptoms of schizophrenia, are bipolar type, which includes episodes of mania and sometimes major depression, and depressive type, which includes only major depressive episodes. Schizoaffective disorder may run a unique course in each affected person. Untreated schizoaffective disorder may lead to problems functioning at work, at school, and in social situations, causing loneliness and trouble holding down a job or attending school, which... that's relatable. People with schizoaffective disorder may need assistance and support with daily functioning. Treatment can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. Now, this part here, may need assistance and support with daily functioning. One of the things I, as an autistic person, deals with is that I specifically don't want assistance and support with daily functioning. There are many things that I could definitely use the help with, and he might be the same in this circumstance, like one of those people that doesn't want the help, but, you know, the help, in Australia at least, the help is there, especially with regards to, like, academia, you know, my study at the moment, but I'm just one of the, and I think quite a few neurodivergent people would feel this. You know, the moment you start saying, do I need to take some help on for this thing that I'm struggling with, then it just reaffirms the idea that you are an outlier in society, and all of a sudden you feel like you're worse for it. Treatment can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. Let's have a look at the symptoms. Schizoaffective disorder symptoms may vary from person to person, as always. People with the condition experience psychotic symptoms such as hallucinations or delusions, as well as symptoms of a mood disorder, either bipolar type symptoms of mania and depression, or depressive type episodes of depression. Here's the thing. May experience psychotic symptoms such as hallucinations or delusions, and these kinds of things right here are routinely used. You'll notice this. Routinely used especially by certain talking heads of a certain political affiliation. Feel like I don't need to elucidate there. To demonize certain people. They'll say they were having these psychotic hallucinations, they were delusional, they were hearing voices, and treating people who have those kinds of actual problems as though they are psychotic killers or something of that nature, when they're just people who are dealing with something that society doesn't know how to deal with. Can feel like you're not good enough for not being able to go it alone. Exactly. Independence is a huge thing. And when you can't attain that independence, it can feel like you've failed, So, although the... Hey, Yarrow. Thank you for the 75 bits. Oh, no. Oh, no, you broke it. I forgot. It's all right. We have the memory of it. We have the saved screenshot. We have the memory. It's never going away. We've got it. Have a good time. Have a good sleep, Yarrow. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for the 75 bits. F's in chat. Signs and symptoms of schizoaffective disorder depend on the type, bipolar or depressive type, and may include, among others. I'm doing well, Taylor. How you doing? Welcome to the Rogrim Soda Pop Chick. What's going on, Fester? How's it going? You've only just gotten proper work for the first time since January. Yeah, it'd be rough. I'm still not in a proper working environment yet. Among others, delusions, having false fixed beliefs despite evidence to the contrary, hallucinations, such as hearing voices or seeing things that aren't there, impaired communication or speech, such as being incoherent. I feel like I have that one constantly. One of the issues that I deal with is, am I saying the words in the right way so that people can understand me? Bizarre or unusual behavior. Symptoms of depression, such as feeling empty, sad, or worthless. Periods of manic mood with an increase in energy and decreased need for sleep over several days, and behaviors that are out of character. He specifically mentioned he'd been up since Friday at 5 p.m. We're not sure of the actual day that he was posting on, but it seemed like it had been a few days where he had not slept. Impaired occupational, academic, and social functioning, like we saw earlier. Problems with managing personal care, including cleanliness and physical appearance. Causes, the exact causes are still being investigated, but genetics are likely a factor. Risk factors, having a close blood relative, stressful events that may trigger symptoms, taking mind-altering drugs. Complications, suicide attempts, or suicidal ideation, thoughts. Social isolation, family and interpersonal conflicts, unemployment, anxiety disorders, alcohol or other substance use problems, significant health problems, poverty, and homelessness. Or, being targeted by a customer when you're working a service job. Have an issue where you'll change your mind on what you want to say mid-sentence and the words fall apart. I have that problem all the fucking time. I hate it. That's why I write shit down. Hasn't even been able to have the ability to get over his breakdown because of fucking Twitter. Exactly. He hasn't even had the opportunity to, back away from this because he's been cast into the spotlight, like we mentioned before. This kid has just been put into an incredibly difficult position that he didn't ask for, He didn't request this. He didn't want this. And now everybody knows his face. Everybody knows who he is. Because of something as incredibly humiliating as this. Just wander off on tangents all the time. A 5-minute conversation often lasts 40 minutes. Sounds like a Trump speech. Huge problem when it comes with mental health stigma and people not being treated properly or being forced to live, having to function the same way as normies, which we've discussed ABA a few times, which is the idea that parents of autistic children will hire a therapist who will come and try to basically correct their child into neurotypical behaviors. But the reality of the situation is autistic kids more than likely will not be able to pick up those behaviors, and as a result, I mean, there's been some discussion around the notion of the labels high functioning and low functioning. I am technically considered high functioning for whatever that's worth. You know, there are a lot of autistic people who've gone through applied behavioral analysis, which just seeks to correct autistic people, but it never actually works. And it's effectively just conversion therapy, but for autistic kids. Apparently in the video, the customer said he was shouting at him or something, which is obviously not professional and warrants some form of being upset, but it does not warrant the fact that he keeps pushing him and going further with it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Been trying to do those behaviors my whole life, just tires me out. Yeah, precisely. It was like, it comes back to the spoon theory thing. Acting normal requires an intense amount of spoons. Should we take a look at borderline personality disorder as well while we're here? And this sounds very relevant. I think a few people speculated he has BPD. I don't know if he mentioned that he had BPD. Anyway, borderline personality disorder is a serious mental illness that centers on the inability to manage emotions effectively. The disorder occurs in the context of relationships. Sometimes all relationships are affected, sometimes only one. It usually begins during adolescence or early adulthood. While some persons with BPD are high functioning in certain settings, their private lives may be in turmoil. Most people who have BPD suffer from some problems regulating their emotions and thoughts, impulsive and sometimes reckless behavior, and unstable relationships. You don't have to ask permission to leave. If you need to leave, that's alright, I understand. After the break, in about 15 minutes, we'll probably switch topics. Other disorders such as depression, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, substance abuse, and other personality disorders can often exist along with BPD. The diagnosis is frequently missed, and a misdiagnosis of BPD has been shown to delay and or prevent recovery. Bipolar disorder is one example of misdiagnosis, as it also includes mood instability. There are important differences between these conditions, but both involve unstable moods. For the person with bipolar disorder, the mood changes exist for weeks or even months. The mood changes in BPD are much shorter and can even occur within the day. Officially recognized in 1980 by the psychiatric community, it is more than 2 decades behind in research, treatment options, and family psychoeducation compared to other major psychiatric disorders. BPD has historically met with widespread misunderstanding and blatant stigma. There's that word again. However, evidence-based treatments have emerged over the past 2 decades, bringing hope to those diagnosed with the disorder and their loved ones. I've always seen BPD as borderline personality disorder. I don't think I've ever seen bipolar shortened. It's always just bipolar. I've never seen it have an abbreviation. Does it have one? Trying to keep yourself behaving as you're supposed to according to society is almost impossible. You're nearly 42 and never got the hang of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's usually just fully written from what I've seen. Whereas borderline personality disorder is pretty lengthy, pretty wordy, and it gets BPD as a result. Anyways. Excuse me. Still would recommend the video. Which video was that? I've forgotten. Anywho, nothing warrants the F slur. I agree with that. Zeta, by the way, hello. How are you doing? But anyway, you know, that kind of, drinking so much. I could get the actual oh no, I finished it. Shit. I had Jacinta over the other night, and I had a bottle that had about this much left in it, and I finished it off. But yeah, here we are. Anyways, where were we? Hang on, let me just scroll back up a second. Oh yeah, we already read that bit. Okay. To refute the drinking comment, realizes she's got no alcohol because she drank it. I've got alcohol, I just don't have vodka. I don't have the vodka. And don't worry, after this a mental health discussion, we can go on to trash talking Maya Forstater because that's fucking hilarious to me. Anyway, you just read through this, and it's even more woo-woo than you remembered. When a security guy kept telling you, or Yakubian, and eventually explained what he should have my job. And his because I'm not pure. I wasn't really offended when he explained that it was a product of science experiments because the tale is so silly you can't be offended by it. Yakub, okay. Don't send me fucking mobile links. Get the M out of that link. Okay, so what is this? In the beliefs of the Nation of Islam, Yakub, sometimes spelled Yaqub or Yakub with a Q, was a black scientist who lived 6,600 years ago and began the creation of the white race / white people. I feel like I need to bring this up so you can read it yourself. By the way, looking up, welcome to the Rogue Room. In the beliefs of the Nation of Islam, Yaqub, sometimes spelled Yaqub, was a black scientist who lived 6,600 years ago and began the creation of the white race / white people. Yeah, hot. He is said to have done this through a form of selective breeding referred to as grafting while living on the island of Patmos. The Nation of Islam theology states that Yaqub is the biblical Jacob. This story has caused disputes within the Nation of Islam during its history. Under its current leader, Louis Farrakhan, I don't know. The Nation of Islam continues to assert the story of Yaqub as true, claiming that modern science is consistent with... What? 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 I beg pardon? What? Who comes up with this shit, dude? Genuinely. Fucking hell. Oh, we were a Nation of Islam. Yeah, we were talking about Yaqub. Why would the race they created enslave them later on? That's a whole theological and ideological discussion. I really don't think we have the depth to discuss at length. Anyway. White race, white people, eugenics. Yeah, it definitely sounds like eugenics in its own way, doesn't it? Anti-Semitism. Wait, I suppose. Yeah. I'm pretty sure modern science does not claim white people were created by a guy from the Middle East. How does that even make sense? Modern science destroys pretty much all religion. It does. We're at the point. Okay. We are at the point as a society where a lot of the things that religious texts like to claim, thanks to their woo, thanks to their whatever, thanks to their religious depictions, their interpretations have been demonstrably disproven by science, aside from things that we simply can't prove, like the existence of an afterlife, like the existence of a god. You know, it's that kind of stuff. But we can prove, well, there's a number of things that, the Bible and the Quran and the Torah and whatever would say about, morality or the reason that animals exist and blah, 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 blah. That we've just, we've been able to prove those things are wrong. They're just not correct. NOI and Farrakhan believe all the anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracies. Well, that's nice, isn't it? Due to that kind of science back then, what happened to society, shit should have taken off. This is actually an interesting thought. And again, I've been watching Castlevania. But it is an interesting thought to consider that there's probably a bunch of technology, medicine, and other things that we've learned over human history that has been destroyed. Keep in mind, coming back to World War II, one of the first book burnings was a bunch of literature from a transgender clinic. So we had a bunch of knowledge back in that time period that was destroyed that we've had to regain over the past 80 years or so. And in a similar vein, there's a bunch of other... Just saying hypothetically, there's a whole bunch of old science that has been wiped out over the years. And a whole bunch of old writings and that sort of thing that, we have to rediscover. Antibiotics was discovered thousands of years ago, then rediscovered in the early 1900s. Yeah, that kind of thing. Library in Germany, yeah. Was it in Germany? I think it was in Germany. Like the quote, God died the death of 1,000 qualifications. Nancy Chancy. I love your name. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Heard a good quote the other day. Let God appear and his word be true and make every man a liar and he has yet to appear. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyways. But yeah, the notion of, there's a lot of these ideas, and don't get me wrong, we are a very technologically, very scientifically advanced society, most certainly. But there's a lot of stuff that we've lost over time that we are slowly regaining. Not that I at all believe this Yaqub nonsense. That's... What? Library of Alexandria was also one that I was thinking of. The Mormons made the mistake in the UK by explaining the biography of Joseph Smith back in the 90s in Sunday newspapers, and it's really hilarious twaddle, especially how he had gold tablets that only he could read. Where are those gold tablets, by the way, for the record? Where are the gold tablets that he had? God can only be found in the gaps in our collective knowledge these days, unless the religious Kaleem? Oh, unless the religious claim creationism is real. Yeah, they still do. They still do in the face of all the science saying, oh, by the way, you know, we do know that creationism is not a thing that did happen. Although, here's an amusing thing. Oh yeah, didn't the angel take the tablets back? How very convenient. The God of the Gaps argument. I don't know, therefore God. This is an interesting thing though. On the subject of creationism, there's a concept called last Thursdayism. Here's Cat. Is the idea that the universe was created last Thursday, but with the physical appearance of being billions of years old. It's also a counter to the creationism theory. Under last Thursdayism, books, fossils, light already on the way from distant stars, and literally everything, including your memories of the time before last Thursday, were all formed at the time of creation, last Thursday, in a state such that they appear much older. This is fantastic. I love this notion. Anyways, Cato. Yeah. I am now a last Thursdayist. This is good satire. Definitely some FSM vibes. Smith also spoke to an angel only he could see called Moroni. Like, was the angel like a mafioso or something? What's the deal there? What was his name? Hang on. What was his fucking Joseph Smith? That's it. Did the angel come down to him? He's like, "Hey Joseph, I got some of these here golden tablets for you. You're gonna start a religion." And then he fucks off. Then he comes back when the religion is established, and he's like, "Hey yo Joseph, I'm gonna need those tablets back. Yeah, you know what I mean? Go on now, get out of here." Apparently, Jesus went to America and gave the Sermon on the Mount word for word without changing context that would have been irrelevant to folks living in America at the time. In the 1800s. Was it in the 1800s? I forget. Something like that. The angel was a mob boss. Splinter sect called Last Wednesdayism. There's also Last Tuesdayism. I need those tablets back. I say goodbye to your kneecaps. What's the matter, you, eh? Oh, goodness. That's probably racist against Italians. Is that a thing? Anyway. A non-falsifiable claim is the proper term, I think. In normal Christianity, it was too easy to believe. Yeah. It was like one of those conveniences, isn't it? It's a me, Jesus. If you ever wonder why flat earthers think they're right, it's actually in the Old Testament. Firmament Wikipedia. Yeah, God created everything to look old to trick us and test our faith. I've heard that a million times. In biblical cosmology, okay, the firmament is a vast solid dome created by God on the second day to divide the primal sea called Tehom into upper and lower portions so that the dry land could appear. Old Testament, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and morning were the second day. This is why epistemology is important. I need to continue my reading. Excuse me. Anyways. We're going to take a break in just a moment. Take a couple of minutes. Might grab myself a wine or something. Kugrash. Who's Kugrash? Is that a character from Raid Shadow Legends? I actually saw somebody on the I saw somebody playing Raid Shadow Legends on the front page of Twitch yesterday, and I was like, what the fuck? And I recognized the specific, like, the characters running off the screen and the camera, you know, panning towards the new enemies and the characters coming back into the screen, and I stopped for a second. I'm like, yep, that person is legitimately, actually playing Raid Shadow Legends. Unironically. Probably sponsored. You know, get that bag, sis, I guess, but you wouldn't catch me dead playing it again. Tuned in just in time for Sunday school. You tuned in just in time for a break. It's slightly early. Slightly early for a break. But we'll come back in a moment, I suppose. Because we got some news stories. Yeah, we'll come back in a moment. Basically, the sea and the sky are joined together. Genesis is what happens when a bunch of old people try to understand what an angel is speaking at them about. But yeah, we were sort of... How did we get onto this, honestly? How did we get onto... talking about this nonsense? What happened? What's going on? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on anymore. Anyway, we'll be right back. Give it about 5 minutes. Talk amongst yourselves. Be kind to yourselves and each other. Hang on a minute. Before I actually go. Actually, before I go, I just have to show you this. He is very energetic lately. He's been on antibiotics because he's been sick. And I think it's given him a massive, spike of energy. Anyway, BRB. Don't go away. He's got energy. You need to burn it off. Look, over here. Come on. He's got spoons for days. He's been really energetic. Oh, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Are you done yet? Are you fucking done yet? I think he might be finished. Oh no, he's fucked off. Okay, enough that. Hello. Hello! I have returned, I'm back. You can now applaud me if you like. You can now proceed to cheer for my return. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you all just, you know, literally applauding me because I deserve it. Thank you for cat. He's in a really, like, 455 crown, by the way. Welcome to the program. He's in a really playful mood, but he's also, like, usually he's pretty... And sometimes he is still very cuddly, but lately he's been very antsy when I go to pat him. Don't know what his deal is. But I have some vegan lollies. I'm not ultra vegan or anything, but I'm trying, okay? I feel like I should be vegan. I have to give him a pat. There we go. Anywhoomst. They are quite good. They are quite nice. They're honestly just like the same as regular jelly candies. You know, they're not outrageously different, but they're very nice. Anyways. What do I change the title to? We're not doing mental health stigma anymore. I need a new title. Yes, I am a whammon. Vegan confectionery reviews. Last Thursdayism with cats. You know what? I like that one. Okay. From now on, the Rogue Room, is not merely a place for reporting the news and talking about important topics and learning. It's also specifically a place for the practice of last Thursdayism. We must now assert that nothing happened on, last Wednesday, because last Wednesday didn't happen. Everything started last Thursday, no matter what day it is. From now on, we are a last Thursday stream. And I expect you all to stick to it. Last Thursdayism, yes. Do we need to bring it up again? Here it is. There you are. Hello. Okay, fine. What up, Heartless Wolf? How's it going? I look so pallid, dude. There we go. This is last Thursdayism. The idea that the universe was created last Thursday, but with the physical appearance of being billions of years old. It's also a counter to the creationism theory, etc., etc., etc. Do you actually know what happened before last Thursday? No. Because nothing happened before last Thursday. The universe was created last Thursday. Hello? This is mine. And you are going to stop being so aggressive to me, you little shit. No, you're going to stop. You're going to stop. You are going to have a cuddle. And you're going to stop being a shithead. No. You're not allowed to leave. Under any circumstance. You stay here now. Showing my pussy on stream. Can you fuck off now? You're being annoying. He's like swiping at me and everything. Vegan jellies. And Moscato. I don't know, is Moscato vegan? Probably is. Anywho. Do I want to react to some Tucker Carlson being a dumb shit? Because he really is. He's really a dumb shit. You got a clear skin white tonight. What does that mean? Why is he just sitting behind me? Why is he just sitting behind me? He spotted something over here. I don't know what. Okay. What did he do now? Mask mandate shit. Mask conspiratorialism. Quite literally, honestly. Alex Jones level shit. Let's have a look. So here's a tweet. Here is a thing. Tucker Carlson is now telling his audience to harass people who wear face masks outside. If they see children wearing masks, Tucker says the response should be no different than when you see a kid being abused. Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Which is absurd, but let's watch.
We did give in.
Hang on, let me turn off the music. Alright. He looks like an expired Lego man. The low res doesn't help on the video.
The grotesque version of Halloween went on for more than a year, and it's still going on. Not even Tony Fauci still pretends that masks are medically necessary. Instead, masks are purely a sign of political obedience, like Kim Il-sung pins in Pyongyang. We wear them because we have to. The only people who wear masks voluntarily outside are zealots and neurotics. How neurotic are they? Well, we know. A Pew survey from last March found that 64% of white Americans who classify themselves as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed with an actual mental health condition.
There it is! There it is! Cycling back around to what we were talking about earlier. There it is, mental health. All these people who are wearing the masks, the liberals, and they have the mental health disorders.
And you see them everywhere when you walk down the street in any major city. If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing
Yes, exactly, Draco. Equating mental health to his enemy.
A mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment. How could you? They're saying from behind the gauze.
Say that again. What was that? Hang on.
In Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment. How could you? They're saying from behind the gauze. How could you? That's the question we should be asking of them in return. The rest of us should be snorting at them first. They're the aggressors. It's our job to brush them back and restore the society we were born in. So the next time you see someone in a...
I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I was under the impression that the society you were born into didn't want people to be dying of preventable illnesses. That's why there has been such a consistent push against vaccinating preventable illnesses throughout American history. What? How dare I try to prevent people from dying to a pandemic scale illness? I know, you're such an awful person. How dare you? How dare you? This reminds me of the water is turning the frogs gay. That's literally like this is an Alex Jones bit. This is Tucker Carlson going full Alex Jones. It's ridiculous.
Mask on the sidewalk or on the bike path. Do not hesitate. Ask politely but firmly, would you please take off your mask?
Why? Okay, Tucker. I'm going to go up to you if I see you in the street and I'm going to say, can you please take off your pants? Even if it was not a pandemic-related thing. It's like asking somebody to take off a piece of their clothing. Tucker, can you please take off your pants? Tucker, take the fucking pants off, please. Like, that's what it's... You don't get the right to go up to somebody and tell them not to wear something. And I realize now I'm sounding like shoe on head because she's got a massive crush on Tucker Carlson for some reason, but you realize what this relates to as well. Turquoise,
supporter of the cause.
Thank you for the sub.
What did I walk into?
We're talking about Tucker Carlson being a fucker Carlson. Anyway. So anyways, you know what this leads into, right? He's telling the people you're not supposed to wear masks. You're not supposed to wear masks. How long is it going to be before he's telling Muslim people that they shouldn't be wearing masks? He doesn't trust the Muslims wearing their niqab or hijab or any of that. How long is it going to take? Also, I need to update that little currency thing. How long is that going to take? Tucker fucker Carlson? Anyway. Kids wore masks during the flu epidemic. Yeah, it's not a new thing. This is not a new spiel he's running here. This is not at all an interestingly groundbreaking thing. Anyways.
Science shows there is no reason for you to be wearing it. Your mask is making me uncomfortable.
Literally tell me where the fuck the science says that the masks don't do anything. Prove that. The science. What science? What science, Tucker Carlson, is saying that the masks don't do anything? Where's that science for me? Huh? This is the most amusing thing. Cite your sources, Carlson. Yeah, people wore masks before the pandemic in Japan and China and everyday life. Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing. Because you know what humans are? You want to know what humans are? Fucking disgusting. Plague-ridden pests. We are a pestilence that kills each other just by being in proximity. Human beings are fucking stupid and very, very infectious. You know, if anyone gets a cold, if anyone gets the flu, if anyone gets any number of things that can be easily transmissible prior to COVID, say your granny dies, and like say your granny who's maybe only 67, she's not particularly old, but she's got a weaker immune system, catches a cold and fucking dies because some dipshit standing next to her at line at the sushi place decided to cough on her. That was happening before COVID. You know, and it's still happening during COVID, and it's going to happen after COVID, if there ever is an after COVID. People are still going to be so rude and crass and selfish as to not wear masks, even though they do have a demonstrable benefit. Fucking God. Masks don't help prevent ligma at all. I thought science was elitist shitheads that want to control you and give everything to China or something equally fucking backwards. Science is beneficial when they deem it beneficial. Is wearing a mask still important? Your mask helps protect those around you. Masks are a simple barrier to help prevent your respiratory droplets from reaching others. Studies show that masks reduce the spray of droplets when worn over the nose and mouth. You should wear a mask even if you do not feel sick. There you go. Let's continue. Oh, we weren't done with that. Hey, come back. Let's keep going.
We should do that, and we should keep doing it until wearing a mask outside is roughly as socially accepted as lighting a Marlboro on an elevator. It's
lighting a marble on an elevator. He's supposed to be saying a Marlboro, like a cigarette, but it just comes out like lighting a marble on an elevator. Lighting a marble on an elevator. Yeah, I'm gonna go into an elevator now, and I'm gonna take a lighter in there, and I'm gonna light a marble on fire. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Repulsive. Don't do it around other people. That's the message we should send because it's true. As for forcing children to wear masks outside, that should be illegal.
Why should it be illegal, Tucker Carlson? Why should it be illegal for kids to wear masks? Keep in mind, most places when there were mask mandates here were not told to wear masks. There were certain kids under a certain age who were told not to wear masks. Yeah, protecting kids should be illegal. Got it. Pretty sure he's drunk. He sounds drunk. 13-year-old just died in Ontario from COVID. The kids are not magically immune from the possibility of dying from COVID. Yeah, conservatives literally are a fucking death cult. It's ridiculous. How many times they are in outright denial of things that are outright killing people. Either that or they are encouraging things that are outright killing people. It's absurd.
Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart.
I feel like a kid wearing a piece of faceware, which, by the way, can be branded in such a way that's fun for the kid to the point where they might actually want to wear it because it's cool. Look at me, Mum, I've got a cool Sub-Zero mask from Mortal Kombat. Not exactly the same as seeing someone slapping their child up the back of the head and screaming at them in the yogurt section. There's a bit of a stark difference there.
Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Keep calling until
Fortnite
someone arrives.
masks, whatever.
What you're looking at...
Yeah, like contact child services? What the fuck are child services? What are Child Protective Services going to do? Yeah, hi, I see a kid. Hi, Child Protective Services. I'm seeing a 9-year-old wearing a face mask in public. Hello? And then he goes on to say, listen to this, we're not done yet.
...is abuse. It's child abuse, and you are morally obligated to attempt to prevent it.
It's child abuse. Okay.
If it's your own children being abused, then act accordingly. Let's say your kids...
Oh, okay. Well, I think there was a point a little bit earlier on.
As for forcing children to wear masks outside, that should be illegal. Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart. Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Keep calling until someone arrives.
Keep calling until someone arrives. They're not gonna fucking arrive because it's fucking stupid. And what this is going to lead to... yeah, this is child abuse, apparently. This is child abuse. This is child abuse, folks. Kids wearing masks is literally child... Look at that child abuse happening right there. Disgusting. I can't believe it. Anyway, he's saying, like, keep calling them, keep harassing them. And, like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in this particular circumstance is if people are calling and not getting the response they want, they're not getting the cops to come out, they're gonna start making up crimes to get the cops to come to deal with a kid wearing a mask. They're going to go from, hi, Child Protective Services, I see a kid wearing a mask, to, hi, Child Protective Services, I saw a parent restraining a child trying to force a mask on their face. Absolutely ridiculous levels of shit. These people are deranged. Actual derangement syndrome.
What you're looking at is abuse. It's child abuse, and you are morally...
It's not child abuse. Wearing a sweater on a cold day does raise questions of what else is child abuse. Sunscreen. Well, given that how many kids will fight against you if you try to put sunscreen on them. Sunglasses. Wear a hat. Wearing a sweater on a cold day. You can't wear shorts and a t-shirt when we're going out. It's freezing cold outside. It's like, no, I want to wear this. You can't wear your thongs, your sandals. Scarves are going to strangle us. Strangle me, daddy. Anyway, Tucker wouldn't know what a moral was. That's why he's trying to mandate morality for the US is beyond me.
Obligated to attempt to prevent it. If it's your own children being abused, then act accordingly. Let's say your kid's school emailed you to announce that every day after lunch, your 6th grader was going to get punched in the face by a teacher.
That sounds fucking awesome. When are we starting that program? Forgive me, that's what we call a joke. Good night, Fox. Have a good one.
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
Hey, Wassa, thank you for the host. How you doing, mate? Slip, slap, slap equals child abuse. Yeah. This may cross over into incitement to riot. It may well do so. It's a moron who's appealing to old people. Still, the most entertaining thing about Tucker is his wig. Is it a wig? Wondering what would happen if it... Yeah, doesn't he think like hitting kids is fine? Wassa, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. This is so absurd. This is... Slip, slap your kid in the fucking face, you bastard. Just got together with my family for my nan's 92nd birthday. My brother started going off about climate change, how it's not real. Almost had to cause a scene for him to stop. Took him aside and said, I'm not having this conversation. I'm here for my nan's 92nd birthday. Yeah, time and place for that bullshit. Yeah, constipation face is default.
How would you respond to that? That's precisely how you should respond when they tell you that your kids have to wear masks on the soccer field.
How is that even remotely the same thing? Okay, after class, we're going to punch your kid in the face, or, we want your kids to wear masks so they don't spread their gross respiratory germs on each other and make each other sick, which is already a problem. Although there is a bit of a difference when it comes to children, in that, and we did talk before about how kids can die from COVID. But there is, of course, the thing of certain kids should get certain types of sick from their friends to build antibodies. Ideally, we would vaccinate those things, but I think there are certain things they just have to catch. I'm not sure. I can't recall. It's secret child abuse. The right is getting incredibly desperate. This culture war bollocks is exactly that. It absolutely is. If you look at 2014, Tucker's hair is exactly the same length and color. The parting, you'd even say it's a wig. You think so? It probably could be. Yeah, it's not chickenpox. It's a deadly virus that can actually fucking kill kids. Yeah, on some level, your immune system needs to deal with more minor diseases. As long as your body can handle it, you do need, in the same way that they don't allow kids to take peanuts into school. There shouldn't be some sort of expectation that every kid is going to be able to handle certain illnesses the same way. He does look fake, doesn't he? He certainly does.
Field. That is unacceptable, it is dangerous, and we should act like it, because it is. But too few of us have responded like that.
It's unacceptable, it's dangerous. What's dangerous? Literally wearing a mask is quite literally good for society. It's a good thing for everybody. Why do these people have a platform? I've made a video on Tucker Carlson before, which talks about exactly... Oh, no, it wasn't Tucker Carlson, was it? I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. Is he just a self-learning AI? These people have a platform because this kind of thing sells really well. This kind of thing sells really fucking well. These kind of people have a platform because it is so easy to pander to a bunch of people who are either A, outraged at it, or B, genuinely believe it and have no interest in educating themselves. They have an idea in their mind about the way the world works, and they have no interest in changing it in any way, shape, or form. That's basically it. Nazism is hugely popular. Yes, exactly. And there are a bunch of people who, even if they realize what they're saying is wrong, love the idea of contrarianism. I got this video from... Let me just bring it up for you. Here. Posted by Justin Baragona. At any rate, what was I going to say? I'm going to follow that bloke. We'll get rid of the BPD overview. We don't do that anymore. Yeah, there's three major parties in this circumstance. I think there's boomers that genuinely believe it, that are genuinely just convinced. And when I say boomers, I don't necessarily mean old people. I do genuinely mean there is a crowd of young people who do not pay attention to any of the news, aside from the shit that reaffirms their biases that they've learned from older generations as well. There are contrarians who don't care if they're wrong, they just want to own the libs. That's their entire thing. So they pay attention to these kind of talking heads specifically so they can regurgitate their commentary to piss off people. That's their entire thing. And it's not just as a joke, that's their whole personality. And what was the third one? There was
Welcome
a third
back.
One. An anonymous
Supporter
gift
of
gave
the
Vagabond
cause.
a sub. Thank you so kindly. Anonymous person out there in the void. Thank you kindly. So we have people who genuinely believe it, contrarians, and I think there was another one. There was another little group in there that I had described, and I can't remember what they are. But basically, the reason they have an audience is because it is people who find it entertaining. People who look at shit like Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, and so on, because they find them just stupidly entertaining. Those factors alone can give these people a huge audience. And it's it's the same reason we refer back to that streamer I mentioned earlier, who I will never mention by name because they're a cunt, who was pretty okay in the mid-range streamer scene. Then they started pandering incredibly heavily to the alt-right. All of a sudden, they've got well over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And they've got a pretty consistent viewer base because they are just pandering to these dumb fucks. It's a very easy grift. There's a video by... what's his name? One of those left commentators. Let's go to my YouTube history, actually. I might be able to find it. One of those breadtubey commentators who does like the talking head sort of stuff, but from a leftist perspective. History. Let me see. This is all RSA stuff. La-di-da-di-da. There was a bloke whose name eludes me at the moment. Is it David Pacman? It may have been David Pacman. I think it was. Who had a video. We can watch this video if you want. I think we'd be okay to watch his video if we wanted. Wherein he specifically talks about how he had a meeting with someone who was offering to give him a really good gig to skew to the right and start doing Republican commentary, conservative commentary. He would have been making like 3 times what he was making at that particular point in his career, and it would have had a lot of potential for him to grow and get a lot more traction and things of that nature.
You are now one of us.
An anonymous gift to Gabe Soul Reaper at Tier 1. Thank you so kindly, anonymous person out there in the void. You fucking legend, you. And I can't find the video now, but the basic gist... Jesus Christ, dude. How are they doing these videos? Good Lord. 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 14 hours ago, 15 hours ago, 17 hours ago, 18 hours ago. Like, they're just routinely churning content out. I need to get an editor, man. Seriously. I want to have videos up on my YouTube channel every day if I could manage it. Clips from the stream. But anyway, that'd be really good, but I just don't have the energy and the time to do it myself. But anyway, yeah, David Pacman is a left-wing commentator and put out this video recently where he describes that he had a meeting with some, rich person who was working in conservative talk media and was offering him either a radio gig or a YouTube gig, where it's like, essentially what they were saying to him was, you were going to disappear for a bit, or it was either you would disappear for a bit, come back, and gradually skew into conservative ideology, or you would have a slow and gradual transition over about the course of 6 months to a year into that right-wing conservative ideology discussion. And this is, I quite frankly think this is the reason there are so many of these particular commentators. It's a good income earner. There are a lot of people who are doing this thing legitimately just because it's good money. I don't doubt Candace Owens is doing it for the money. I don't doubt there are a lot of people who are just spreading hateful, divisive rhetoric on a constant basis just to get the money from it. There are a lot of people who will just take the money and run. And at the end of the day, what do they have to worry about? They're hated by the internet. They can turn that off. They can go and do whatever the fuck else they want to do, because they're sitting on a mountain of cash. They're grifters. It's literally, they're just grifters. At that point, I feel like their only political alignment is just toward capitalism. They don't have any standards at all. They don't have any beliefs at all. It's just, I'm going to just say whatever the network wants me to say, and they'll pay me lots of money. And that's it. At the end of the day, that's it. And there was a video I actually saw earlier that we could probably look at, actually, which was ContraPoints talking about, it was a clip from a podcast or something, if I'm not mistaken. It was ContraPoints talking about how, is it on the BreadTube subreddit? I don't see it. It was someone reacting to ContraPoints in this particular circumstance. But the basic gist is she was saying how the left needs an angle on the free speech discussion, because these right-wing commentators, these people like Candace Owens and all these kinds of people, they're advertiser friendly at the end of the day, and a lot of left-wing commentators are not advertiser friendly. So when you see people on the left doing well, like, say, ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, Jim Sterling, and then you got people like David Pakman, Sam Cedar, and all these other left-wing commentators. When they're doing well because of patrons. They're not doing well because of ad money. They've all got Patreon. So all of their income, all of their support is coming from people who are directly donating them to keep their platform afloat. Whereas on the right, all those channels are monetized. They've got ad revenue, and they've probably got other avenues, like they may have Patreon, or Steven Crowder's got his fucking mug club where you pay $100 for a mug. A mug. I'm sorry, but I cannot justify that kind of purchase. Jesus Christ. So that's ultimately why these kinds of people crop up so routinely. Is there's a lot of income in it. There's a lot of money in it. Literal cult behavior? Kind of is. It kind of is. There's no legal recourse against the behavior, and they can ignore the blood on their hands. Exactly. You know, they can say all these things all the livelong day and face no consequences other than the internet pointing, like, other than it happens with Steven Crowder all the time, with him recreating the George Floyd thing. Everybody grabbed that clip of Steven Crowder recreating the George Floyd execution, having a cop's knee on his neck, which was never on his neck in the case of Steven Crowder reenacting it, dickhead. And at the end of the day, they don't have to face the consequences of the things they do, the actions they take, because they're just a personality, and they can write it off as entertainment. They can pretend like they haven't actually affected anything, but the reality is this particular kind of entertainment, especially masquerading as a newscast, has a lot of people taking it seriously. That comes back around to that boomer mindset we were talking about earlier, the people who genuinely believe it. There are a lot of people who will pay attention to folks like, we'll just keep using Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, etc. You know, they might be able to say to the public, oh, we're just entertainers. It's just entertainment. Isaac Butterfield, another example that somebody mentioned, that Isaac Butterfield doesn't believe everything he says. But he's got a big, significant audience, and he says a lot of divisive stuff that would spread actual, societal discord, essentially. Their production value can go a long way, yeah, exactly. Look at all the overt and explicit racism Chowder does. Yeah, exactly. You know, you watch, there's so many clips of Steven Crowder. I know you said Chowder, but anyway. There are a lot of clips of Crowder and his gaggle of sycophants just cackling maniacally, literally like on the verge of saying the N-word. And that's ultimately what grifting is. Butterfield is a good example of a grifter as well, yeah. Quite frankly. It's just the notion that they figured out that they can make a significant amount of money just pandering to hatred, pandering to people who just, pandering to people who don't want to educate themselves. I think it was also revealed behind the scenes that Alex Jones is also on massive grift. I've heard that, but I've also heard conflicting reports that he might be off his hinges a little bit. All of his Asian comedy bits, and obviously anytime he makes any sort of reference to a trans person. No shit. Yeah, Alex Jones does strike me as a complicated individual in that, he might not be as extreme as he portrays. But he is certainly, there's definitely some stuff wrong with him, I think. Like you've said, Vagabond. I think he's got a few issues and manifests that. What are you doing? The cat's trying to get out through the curtain to sit at the window. Here's a new grift. Gay people pretending they're not gay now. Oh, yeah. Ex-gay Milo Yiannopoulos wants to make America hate again. I heard about this. I don't know if I can watch any of Kalinsky's actual videos on my channel, though. I don't want to... I've been really thinking about this lately, especially after, one of the clips I had on my YouTube channel recently. I uploaded one of my streams to my what was I going to say? I uploaded one of my streams to my Rogue Offline YouTube channel and it got copyright blocked, so I just want to be careful with what I watch. I feel like even that Tucker Carlson clip. Actually, a depressing story. The Milo Yiannopoulos thing. I heard about this story. Kyle sucks. I've heard that too. But this was a weird thing that recently came up. Here's a New York Post article on it. Let's just click on this one. Out in Perth. Make America hate again. Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, professional troll Milo Yiannopoulos says he's an ex-gay now. This is from last month. Professional troll and desperate attention seeker Milo Yiannopoulos has surfaced again. The Conservative speaker, who's been banned off most social media platforms and sparked riots at his public speaking events, has declared he's no longer gay and is now on a mission to improve the public perception of conversion therapy. Grift. It doesn't work. Conversion therapy does not work. And yeah, he's clearly, absolutely... Yes, this is, out in Perth, apparently. Absolute grift. There is no way in hell he absolutely genuinely believes this shit. And that's it. At the end of the day, the whole idea of, especially, this is the thing, you've got commentators on the left and the right. And the right are routinely pushing ideas that just fall flagrantly outside the realm of reality. And then left-wing commentators have to play catch-up and correct these people and react to them all the time. And it's just a back and forth constantly. The right's throwing out bullshit and the left is trying to correct it, fact-check it, and all this kind of nonsense. It's a never-ending cycle. And the same thing with this Milo Yiannopoulos thing. I'm not going to even bother going into the whole thing, but if he's peddling the notion that conversion therapy is good and fine and all dandy, then clearly he's lost the fucking plot. Obviously. Was the poster boy for the conservative gays for so long until the right-wing dolts he were grouped in with bullied him into ignoring that he's gay. If I recall correctly, he broke up with his partner who is still living with him. So, what does that tell you? It's all a big farce. Ultimately, it's all a big farce. I'm going to put the music back on. I've had it off for a while now. Anyone using the "I'm clearly exaggerating, no one should believe me" defense is a massive twat. Of course people believe them, they've got massive platforms. It's not a defense, it's a dodge. Yeah, exactly. We've talked before about the idea that people should be responsible for the platforms they have. Ultimately, you can't control everybody that resides underneath your platform, everybody that's listening to you. However, when you are putting out ideas into the world, and your audience acts upon those ideas, then you are directly responsible for the consequences of those actions. It's the same Milo that argued pedophilia is okay for kids to be subject to. Jesus fucking Christ. What world are we living in, my friends? A deranged one. A lost one. Blah. Blah, dude. And there's a pipeline for this shit. We talked before about how people were watching Call of Duty montages, and then in the recommended videos after the fact they were getting suggested Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder videos, because other people who watch Call of Duty montages were watching those videos. So the algorithm just worked in their favor and figured out, oh, okay, people who watch Call of Duty videos tend to watch these videos, and the algorithm put the two together, which is its own, the robots are trying to turn people to the right, basically. Carl Gon of Swindon who's that? I don't know who that is. Are you making a joke about Sargon of Akkad, who I still don't know who Sargon of Akkad is? Sargon of Akkad, okay. Okay. Got a crowd video from watching a lot of gaming videos, yeah. I'm not surprised. And then, you think about, say, PewDiePie, for example, one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform, had Ben Shapiro appear at the end of one of his videos a while back, like a year ago or so, or 2 years ago. And that was not unintentional by any stretch of the imagination. Used to get recommended no bullshits videos from watching Elder Scrolls content. I'm blessed by not knowing Sargon. The more I delve into this kind of nonsense, eventually we're going to react to something he's put out, I imagine. But let's move on to something else more depressing. Of course not, PewDiePie's a racist. Should we watch that H-Bomber guy video? Anyways, let's move on to some depressing gay news, some depressing transgender news, shall we? That's always fun, because we got to do a routine trans segment, We got to do the routine trans segment just to make sure that everybody hasn't forgotten about Maya Forstater being an absolute shit cunt. Maya Forstater wants the UK's Equality Act to protect people who say trans women are men. Do I need to read the rest of the article, or can we just end it there? That's probably bad. That's enough, you know. That's probably bad enough. I'm a sad trans too. A landmark appeal about whether equalities law should legally protect someone with transphobic beliefs will start in London today. As far as I recall, there were transphobes actually literally live tweeting this thing. So I mean, whatever that means. I mean, I know what live tweeting is. As far as I know, as of this article, the case has already gone forward and finished, or whatever's going on. I don't know. Soygon and Quarter Pounder are the shittiest YouTubers you've ever seen. What I've seen of the Quartering's content is not exactly top notch, you know. Yeah, Forstater is appealing the court's decision that no, she can't make her workplace hostile for trans people. Crazy that. And she's arguing, of course, on the philosophical belief thing. The appeal is being brought by Maya Forstater, who lost her case in 2019 when she tried and failed to convince an employment tribunal that her refusal to accept that trans women are women should be a protected philosophical belief under the 2010 Equality Act. The judge said that her anti-trans views were not worthy of respect in a democratic society. I remember that. That was fucking based in poggers. That was fantastic. Forstater is a tax researcher whose employment contract at the Center for Global Development, a Washington think tank that researches international development, was not renewed in December 2018 after she upset colleagues with her anti-trans views. A lot of people who defend her, a lot of TERFs who defend her like to claim she was fired. She was never fired. Her contract was not renewed. There is a difference. If she was fired, they would have terminated her contract and said, get out. But no, she was able to fulfill her contract and was not renewed. There is a difference. Excuse me. She worked for the Center for Global Development on a consultancy basis since January 2015, and when her contract was not renewed, she took the think tank to an employment tribunal, arguing that they had discriminated against her for holding gender-critical views. Am I the only one who looks at the phrase gender-critical and thinks, doesn't that term more perhaps accurately applied to trans and non-binary identifying people, as opposed to what we do know as gender crits, TERFs? I feel like just the phrase gender critical implies critical of the concept of gender, which most trans and non-binary people are. People who look at the idea of gender and go, well, see, about that, you know. Yeah, we criticize the binary dynamic in society, exactly. And quite honestly, the whole gender-critical phrasing is designed to make them seem a little bit more logical and rational. You know, we have criticisms. We have valid criticisms. If you're an employee of a store or something, how the fuck would you know if someone is NB? Arguably, they would probably tell you. Have you heard gender-critical is a slur now? Oh, is it really? Anyways, where were we? Gender critical is the preferred label of TERFs who, like Forstater, think that trans women should be sent to men's prisons, men's domestic violence refuges, and use men's bathrooms, among other things. In Maya Forstater's case, she holds these beliefs even when a trans person has been through the legal GRC process, gender recognition process, and is protected under equalities law. She believes it is impossible to change sex or lose your sex. Girls grow up to be women, boys grow up to be men, and recently told The Telegraph that she thinks society has become too inclusive. Too inclusive. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were just, telling certain people in society, I'm sorry, fuck off. Hello, Plods. How you going? Yeah, we're shitting on TERFs. Thought gender critical was an LGBT thing until someone on Twitter with it in their bio started harassing you posts. I know, that's what it looks like, an LGBT thing. It looks like critiquing the idea of the binary gender, which is not a thing. Yeah, gender and sex are not binaries. Especially sex, which they routinely try to use as a gotcha. It's like, oh yeah, well, sex is binary. Intersex people. You're done. You're done. It's, but the society's become too inclusive. What does that fucking mean? That ultimately just just the phrase, too inclusive. All that says to the rest of the world is you hate a certain group of people and you don't want them being in it. That's literally all that says, and her opinions in this circumstance should be dismissed based on that alone. Trouble began for Forstater at CGD when she posted hundreds of tweets opposing government proposals to reform the Gender Recognition Act, GRA, and streamline the process of trans people gaining legal recognition of their gender. Her vocal opposition to trans rights reform in the UK were at first only viewed by her 2,000 Twitter followers. However, she later tweeted about Pips Bunce, a senior director at Credit Suisse, who is gender fluid and non-binary, making negative comments about Bunce's gender expression. She also misgendered a non-binary activist and wouldn't apologize or correct herself when they complained. This is the thing. They will aggressively go out of their way to attack trans and be gender fluid people, anyone like that. And then the moment someone defends themselves, or the moment people say, hey, can you not be such a cunt? They act like they are the victim. I'm sorry, but you were going out of your way to aggressively attack another person. Where do you get off thinking you're the victim in this circumstance, you dumb bitch? Right? Like, fuck yourself. Forstater's colleagues at CGD started raising concerns, and when Forstater refused to take down her tweets or apologize, the situation was investigated, and this led to her contract not being renewed with immediate effect. We're talking about TERFs, Zeta. Who's the intersex butterfly woman in Australia who is single-handedly leading the intersex contingent of TERFs? I have no idea. As if a high school biology education is enough to declare you know everything about gender and sex, because honestly that seems to be the highest level of biology education TERFs have. Even that's a stretch. It's not the best term, is TERFs. Just like the people who don't like trans but are liberals or something. They like to claim they're left-wing, I think. But they're just not accepting of trans people. So, kind of, yeah, it's not the best term. Used to refer to transphobe radfems, but it's slowly just starting to mean transphobic people, pretty much. Yeah, the term is trans-exclusionary radical feminist, or trans-exclusive, whatever. And the idea is, but quite frankly, yeah, pro-women, anti-trans women, but I'm going to hit you with another spicy take here, another spicy take. If your feminism excludes certain type of women, it ain't real feminism. And that includes rad feminism. I've seen numerous radical feminists, outright literal man genocidists, saying trans women are women. Trans women are part of the feminist movement. Like, it gets to a point where the TERFs align more with the idea of the trad wife than they do with the what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Like the, basically women's rights. They agree more with taking away women's rights than they do with excelling women's rights. I can't think of the right words tonight. Can we get some so true bestie in chat? Can we get some boobs in chat as well for no good reason? Genuinely, I've never heard a TERF have an argument other than the sexual predator one, and that's all they go off. It's a moral panic, literally. It's just a moral panic, that's all it is. They have found a bunch of psychotic bullshit that they believe based on nothing, and they have tried to spread that to as many people as they possibly can, tried to make it so that trans people are portrayed as some kind of wild sexual predator. It's ridiculous. If your feminism is tough shit, you ain't no feminist. She attacks anyone who mentions intersex folk, but her views are at odds with near all intersex organisations. She used to be/is a part of the national leadership of Australia's intersex organisation. That's fucking worrying. Have I ever seen the LGB Alliance propaganda as it's collection of resting bitch-faced lesbians about one gay guy? It's a TERF alliance of Daily Mail readers who want to reverse history to the 1980s. I have heard about this situation. Maybe we can cue that up for after this one. Reds Under the Bed 2021 edition, basically. The collection of tweets where TERFs are now unironically saying they agree with the support of the trad wife trash. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Mum's a TERF and your brother-in-law is trans. Well, that's fucking garbage. Yeah, the LGB Alliance is no ally. Yeah, they seem like a right-wing hate group, honestly. Continuing on here, anyway. What happened to the original Maya Forstater hearing? The 2019 Employment Tribunal ruled that Maya Forstater's opposition to trans rights and refusal to accept trans people as the gender they say they are do not qualify as a protected belief because they degrade the rights of trans people. There is the crux of the thing. Like, there is why you should not be able to continue with this. People are becoming more understanding of trans rights, the Employment Tribunal Judge Mr. James Taylor ruled in December 2019. It is obvious how important being accorded their preferred pronouns and being able to describe their gender is to many trans people. Calling a trans woman a man is likely to be profoundly distressing. It may be unlawful harassment. Let's just imagine for a second. That you're a cis man. You're a cis man presenting as a cis man. And I go up to you and I routinely call you, like when you're in the room, I refer to you as she and her. And when I'm talking to your face, instead of calling you John, I start calling you Bridget. And I just start calling you Bridget to your face. And I start continually just asserting that you're a woman, despite the fact that you were born male, you identify as a man, you know, and you're a cisgender man. And I'm constantly, continually misgendering you and changing your name without your consent. Do you not see the... Let me just answer me there. Would you find that amusing? Would you find that fun? Or would you find that distressing? Would that piss you the fuck off? I get the suspicion of vast... or if you did the same thing with a woman and you started referring to her as Brett and started referring to her as he and him all the time. Real problem here is being referred to as Bridget. I thought that name was a good idea. I don't know. I had the name Bridget pop into my head. The trans men, according to TERFs, can never have male privilege. Yeah. The whole discourse is based in outright flagrant falsehoods. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. You know? It's rude but not a jailable offense. And this is the way they're acting. They're acting like they're going to get sent to prison. Some of them are saying this kind of legislation is a slippery slope to sending people to jail over misgendering. Like, it's just dumb. Their argument is that since being a man is easier than being a woman, therefore trans men just don't like being oppressed. That is the case every time. Any time there is a trans man in any circumstance. And like Elliot Page, when Elliot Page came out, a lot of people claimed that Elliot Page was trying to escape the oppression of womanhood by transitioning into a man, trying to claim some male privilege. You know, all that kind of nonsense. They always have the same basic arguments. They always run with the same stupid nonsense. So they like being oppressed. I think that's kind of it, really. It's a victim complex for the TERFs. Am I familiar with Nick Fuentes? Vaguely. He claims homosexuality is degenerate, but then he went on a gay date with a cat boy. Vaguely familiar. Good job, Botwick. Thank you, Botwick. But yeah, that's... And then, of course, everybody's aware of the Maya Forstaner and J.K. Rowling thing. We're not going to read this entire article because it's a fucking novel, but you get the point. You get the idea we're going for here. So, TERFs bad. TERFs bad. TERFs bad. Anyway, can we get some TERFs bad in chat? I'm having too much fun with this. Anyways, so she's going to... let's actually go to Twitter. Let's go to everybody's favorite place. And in the USA, you can call the police for protection from verbal/physical assault, and oftentimes the police will just join in with the abusers. Yeah, that's not a good thing, is it? TERFs are not pog. TERFs bad, boobs good. What am I doing? What was I going? I actually posted a tweet earlier. TERFs bad. TERFs bad. TERFs bad. TERFs bad. TERFs bad. Anyway, where did I put it? Here we go. I thought I was being funny, so I posted this earlier. I tried, but I could only get one foot in the garbage. Hashtag I stand with my... I thought I'm clever. You can think I'm clever too, if you want. Twitter bad website. It is. It's demonstrably a terrible, terrible, dreadful, awful place. Okay, this is weird. Is Twitter now hiding certain replies? Without even showing me, because it says, like, look at this. 2 comments. 2 comments. Alright, I click on this. The only comment I can see is this one that I left for myself. I unequivocally do not stand with Maya, and she can stay in the bin where she belongs. Is there another comment that Twitter is hiding from me? Are you hiding comments from me, Twitter? You better not be. You actually commented. Why doesn't it show there? Anyway, TERFs bad. Yeah, Twitter has been getting worse in terms of its UX lately, I've noticed. Could be a deleted comment. You're too long-winded to really enjoy Twitter. That's what threads are for. Trust me. It doesn't matter how long-winded you are. I've seen people post fucking novels on that website. By the way, Oracle, I missed your follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How are you doing? I hope you're well. So on Twitter trending right now, Human Rights Watch says Israel is guilty of international crimes of apartheid and persecution because of its discriminatory policies towards Palestinians within its own borders and within the occupied territories. I see. I still don't know what the deal is with the Israel-Palestine thing. I don't have a stance on it because I don't know anything about it. I feel like I should have a stance on it. 280 characters per tweet. It used to be 140, now it's 280. I think. I'm pretty sure. 280 characters. Read Saber's thing, what did I miss? Oh, the Catboy is an Australian. Here's a short video of Hassan Piker reacting to him. It's just a religious disagreement. Oh, okay. Well, that's a pain in the ass. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Trans Twitter is a cultural experience not to be missed. I feel like a lot of cis people, if they went on trans Twitter, they would be so confused.
Watch what he has to say.
Here's Hassan.
We have been cheated over and over and over. Go ahead. My brothers and sisters, in these uncertain times, we must remember family comes from the blood that courses through our veins. For centuries, parasites have poisoned our minds with the lie that our enemies are our brothers with different labels, but our enemies manufactured both. These rats in human disguise and their puppets revel in watching us kill ourselves.
What the fuck?
That's an actual literal, is it Goebbels or is it Hitler? Like, for the record, that's like an actual Nazi speech that he's delivering. And, yeah. Oh, yeah. No. The people around him are cheering him on. He's gonna say Jews in the end of it. He's talking about parasites and shit, and he means Jews. But he
We will not fall for their evil tricks again. We will not fall for the lies of the Jews this time.
Why are they? What's going on? He just said we will not fall for the lies of the Jew this time, and everyone is fucking clapping. That's kind of weird.
No, our war is with them. USA! 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 USA!
Dude fucking memorized a Nazi speech. These people, oh my god. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you did stumble into madness. I don't know. We're reacting to Hassan, reacting to a Nazi speech, MAGA crowd guy. Shit-eating grinning on this dude. Yeah. Ben Shapiro will be like, this is absolutely false. Clearly a plant by the mainstream media. Gonna create a counter-conspiracy of Q and you'll call it E. Also, write better in response to things like FB and Twitter tends to trigger you to write the number of times you've just said screw it and deleted like 5 full pages. I understand that. I can understand that, which is, you know, the problem, and it's why I like to write lengthy videos, I guess. The centrist between Q and E will be called W. Can't wait when Shapiro is ended by his own people. You guys get the new E drop.
Both sides, guys. I mean, I have such a massive brain, dude. My brain is getting larger and larger as I think about the both sides conversation. So that was the guy that you saw in this video right here in the background. That's, I don't know if he's like an actual Nazi or not. I would assume he is, but even if he's not, who the f gives a shit? The people in the fucking background are the ones who are like, hell yeah, and clapping and screaming USA. As Nick Fuentes' his literal boyfriend. He's a big troll. I hope you understand this. Oh shit, dude. Yo. When I started the...
I hate that argument. Anytime someone's like, this person's such a troll, they're just trolling you. You just got trolled. You just got epically trolled, bro. Like, and again, we come back to the right-wing commentators thing. Anytime one of them says, oh, it was just a joke, bro. It was just a joke. and they got a massive platform, or there's a massive crowd who's cheering them on, and, you know, someone is, you know, just playing a filthy prank, bruh. If there are enough people who are cheering that on, if there are enough people who are actually agreeing with it, that's the problem. Doesn't matter if it's a joke, if a lot of people genuinely believe what you're saying. That's the fucking scary part. Yeah, it still puts the stupidity out there. It's the no one should believe me, I'm clearly talking bullshit dodge again. Vorsh and Saga when they epically troll people by saying weird pedophilic shit live. I'm gonna prank you by doing the Nazi salute and growing a Hitler mustache, yeah.
The clan chapter, I was just doing a big troll, dude. Oh, fuck. Oh, he's best friends with Nick Fuentes, an actual white supremacist Nazi, even though he himself is Hispanic and not white. But hey, oh, he was just trolling, dude. Bro, that's just a troll, dude. Bro, Baked Alaska introduced them, dude.
Big epic trolled you, got you. Oh, you're so mad, you're molding leftist. That kind of bullshit. And this is why I hate seeing anyone who gets taken seriously in these kind of fucking things. Seeing anyone like, yeah, we come around to the Isaac Butterfield thing again. Though he hasn't said anything that's explicitly white supremacist as of late. Yeah, typical forced chant tactics. I just like to use Isaac Butterfield as an example because he's a shit cunt. But like... Oh my god, of course he's got a video. Should we change the date of Australia Day? What do you think his takes are going to be there? He has a big thing against vegans. This woman thinks she is a wolf. What else is there? Feminists! The feminists! Dear straight men, it's time to stop. What do you bet? That's another anti-feminist piece of garbage. And there was a video a while back that he did. Where I mentioned this a few times. I'm not gonna... Oh, is super straight transphobic? I'm not clicking on that shit. No way in hell. There was a video he did a while back, I've mentioned this a few times, where he quite literally said, anti-white racism is a real thing and it's dangerous. Dangerous! And you know what he did? You know, and like this was an unironic video too. He was serious. He went on a tirade about racism, like, you know, I think it was in response to Black Lives Matter, actually. You know, conveniently long enough after Black Lives Matter's major protests in June of last year that it wasn't it was conveniently not too close to it. So he could use that excuse of like, oh yeah, anti-white racism is real and dangerous. And he spent the entire video explaining, and this is the thing, there were BLM protests in solidarity here in Australia because anti-black racism, still a very prominent thing. You know, Aboriginal people, Indigenous people are routinely mistreated by the police here in Australia. There's been a big thing about Aboriginal deaths in custody recently. What he's decided to do, a white man living in Australia where there is a racism problem, was to find specific stories of racist attacks happening against white people over in South Africa, rather than addressing the racism that's happening in Australia. In the country in which he lives, he decided, let's go talk about racism that's happening so far the fuck away from me that it's irrelevant to anything I'm doing. You know? That was his response to the BLM thing. Anyway, Phenomenon, you got muted for super straight. Fucking super straight. God damn it. I'll read your message out. The thing I don't understand is how we collectively find it discriminatory to say you will only date one race, but then cis people are confused if super straight is transphobic. Yeah. That happened because the bots got a bunch of variations of super straight listed as timeout offenses. So if you say super straight in almost any variant that I could think of, it'll be automatically a 1 second timeout. It's, you know, you'll be fine after the fact. It just deletes the message. Anyway. Here we go. From Terran Socialist. Being poor is a choice. Bougie shit libs. And I'm guessing anarchists and communists. I kind of get it. I think. I think I'm out of touch. Understand's a very triggering word to me as well. Yeah, I should get rid of it. No one's been doing the super straight trolling as of late, so it's not a big deal. I don't care that much at this point. Is it okay to enjoy videos made by people you disagree with, like Metaker and JonTron? Or is that like being complicit because you kind of feel guilty when you watch them and others? That's tricky, you know? Especially if, say, for example, like I haven't particularly noticed, for example, JonTron's content leaning into his political views. Most of what he does is just, you know, funny commentary, as far as I know. I haven't watched any of his videos in a hot minute. And that's an interesting... Look, it fucking happened again. Anyway, that's an interesting thing, because, like, if the person is creating a certain type of content and that content doesn't feature those viewpoints, you know, it's arguably, yeah, I started the conversation about it, go me. It's hard to say. Super apolitical and harmless, you know, a case-by-case basis. I'm going to say case-by-case basis. Judge it based on how you want to judge it. You know, chances are I'm not going to support certain people just based on their views. Mr. Medica is a nihilist and has no politics beyond mocking. Okay. Yeah, chances are I'm just going to ignore certain creators because I tend to fill my time with other creators anyway. You know, if there's a person out there who has views I don't agree with and I don't want to consume their content, chances are I'm going to find someone else's content to fill that void if I need it. Comic Girl, thank you so kindly for the host. I hope you're doing well. So, that's its own thing. I don't know. It does sort of cycle back around to that, you know, if we use the J.K. Rowling example, for example, stop swiping at me, you little shit. Jesus Christ. If we use the J.K. Rowling example, a lot of people, in response to her transphobic views, even though those are not in... they're not featured in, say, Harry Potter. A lot of people are like, oh, well, don't buy anything relating to Harry Potter. Don't watch any of the new movies. Don't do any of this. Like, obviously, her new book is pretty fucking transphobic. But by the same token, a lot of people are saying don't buy new copies of Harry Potter and all this kind of stuff, even if it, you know, doesn't feature any explicit transphobia. Tons of racism, though, and sexism. Ow. Anyway, Glenn is back on Twitter. Fucking hell. I'll get a cat cam when he sits patiently in one spot. Sometimes he can get political. You just like his videos where he's just laughing at idiots on the internet. You really miss him. Also, JonTron is apolitical, so it should be fine to watch. Yeah, apolitical in his content. Oh, you mean his new book, Robert Galbraith is a Dude. Missed the link to the greatest Twitter story ever. Here it is again. The alt-right fell for a Twitter joke about Antifa super soldiers. Oh. This was back in 2017. Can't wait for November 4th when millions of Antifa super soldiers will behead all white parents and small business owners in the town square. This is old news. When will the Antifa super duper soldier attack though? Yeah. We heard about the left's evil plans on November 4. He's hiding behind the account being for his web show. Oh, I see. How does he get away with that? You would think, you know, Twitter would be like, oh no, this is associated with Graham Lennon. We don't want that on the platform. You know. I don't like Graham Lennon. He's a dumb cunt. Harry Potter was always shit. I agree, Vagabond. I hate Harry Potter. Probably has enough money for the rest of her life. Buying a book won't affect her much. Yeah, true. That's the ultimate failing of the whole boycotting J.K. Rowling thing. She's a billionaire. She has enough money that she gave away so much to charity, whatever the fuck that means at the end of the day, that she fell out of being a billionaire and made her way back into being a billionaire. So, I don't think she's at much of a risk. Can I say hi to your friend? Wani. Hello. How you doing? Why are they, if they're my fan, why are they not in my chat? Just curious. Sargon of Akkad did that multiple times, and even his Robin Hood account. Oh yeah, Robin Hood. I forgot about the Robin Hood thing. That happened recently-ish. How's that going? How's the GameStop thing going? I haven't checked in on that news in a while. I honestly don't really care to. Feels largely irrelevant. Is there anything else that's happening in the news at the moment? Have we got any other discussions we could talk about? I'm just checking on, like, trending on Twitter, and for some reason it's fucking hashtag Twitch streamers again. I hate that this keeps cropping up even though I keep blocking the damn phrase. I don't want to hear anything about hashtag Twitch streamers because it's a bunch of people who have no viewers tagging tweets where they're going live playing Warzone. Why should that be trending? A lot of rich people made a lot of money, true. Destiny pulled it off for a while. I did the same shit too, since I'm basically deplatformed from Twitter and Twitch. Jim does the same shit too in Turkey. Tom does as well. It's a common tactic because Twitter mods are super fucking incompetent. Well, it's true. We knew that much. We knew that much. Have I seen the news about Demi Lovato and the Froyo place? I have not. Where are you going, Cat? What are you doing, Cat? Meow. Hello. Philanthropy is just an excuse to take things that should be publicly funded and keep them privatized and stratified in a way that generates additional profits in the long run. Yeah, there's a lot of charity that I'm skeptical of, and I feel like I should explore that avenue of philosophy a bit more, I suppose. Yeah, profits for the company, not the people. Here's a Lily Simpson tweet. We like Lily Simpson. Why is this written like a threat? 1 in 6 Gen Z adults are LGBT, and this number could continue to grow. 'Cause it is a threat. Don't threaten me with a good time, Washington Post. Let's read the article. The article isn't negative at all. It interviews some young people and excited sociologists and spends some time on why bi people are underrepresented in surveys. We'll give it a look. We'll give the article a look. Why not? If I can. Yeah, I can. Okay. My gender, a threat. Okay, so 1 in 6 Gen Z adults are LGBT, and this number could continue to grow. Jasper Sports recently realized that nearly all of their friends are queer in some way. They were 8 years old when same-sex marriage became legal in Maryland, about 12 when they realized they were attracted to girls, and 14 when they came out as non-binary using they-them pronouns. Jasper grew up scrolling through gay memes on Instagram and following trans influencers on YouTube. They attended a diverse public middle school in Montgomery County, What's Mud? I don't know. That taught lessons about sexual orientation and gender identity in health class. But at that point, Jasper said, I was already familiar with the stuff they were teaching. Jasper is a member of Gen Z, a group of young Americans that is breaking from binary notions of gender and sexuality, and is far more likely than older generations to identify as something other than heterosexual. Maryland, there we go. 1 in 6 adults in Generation Z identifies as LGBT, according to survey data released early Wednesday from Gallup, providing some of the most detailed and up-to-date estimates yet on the size and makeup of the nation's LGBT population. Yeah, queer in some way. It's kind of interesting that phrasing is interesting because, quite frankly, meow. I think we've talked about the notion. Hello. We've talked about the idea in some capacity, I think. No, you're not scratching me again. That a lot of people lie somewhere on the gender and sexuality spectrum that's not at either direct end of it. You know, it's, I think there is a significantly higher number of people than we realize at this point in time who are some level of gender or sexuality diverse, even if it's only minimal. Yeah, queer as the unifier makes it harder to divide and cause infighting. We definitely should go... I really strongly believe we should ditch the whole LGBTQIA plus thing and just go straight to queer. Queer is, like you've said, the unifier. Queer is that umbrella term. I refer to myself as queer all the time. Yeah, everyone's a little bit gay, exactly. I think there is some merit in that. I think there is some interest in that idea. Yeah, I'd argue nobody's 100% straight. Exactly. Just some are straight enough to not see their attraction to a few same-gendered folks. Does queer fit transgender? Yeah, absolutely. Queer just basically means sex and gender diverse, essentially. People who do not fit that socially described norm of either straight or cisgender kind of thing. Hate the queer as a slur thing, especially with... I haven't seen the queer as a slur thing. Yeah, it used to be a slur. It's certainly reclaimed now. It's certainly been reclaimed now. And yeah, just it's from my observation. I feel like the spectrum of gender and sexuality, the spectrums of gender and sexuality. Excuse me. My throat is so fucking dry. What was I saying? I've forgotten. Well, yeah, ultimately I think, yeah, there are a lot of people who don't realize they lie somewhere on that queer axis. Multiple axes. And it's mainly because society just sells them on the idea that you have to be straight and you have to be cis. You know, it's always amusing to me when someone says, does this show need to have a gay character? Does this show need to have a trans character? Why are they pushing such an agenda when the agenda for the longest time has been straight cis? For the longest time. It's a man kissing a woman, you know, in almost every circumstance. And society pushes this idea so hard, you know, the value of marriage and all this kind of nonsense. We are told that if you don't fit into that, then you're abnormal. And that leads to a lot of people probably repressing sensations they feel, even if those sensations, like, even if it's a man who thinks he's straight, who tells himself he's straight, but he might appreciate another man's physique in a way that he thinks is attractive. He might actually find someone sexually attractive who is male. But it's not enough to sort of trigger him to say, oh, I should go talk to that man because I want to fuck that man. It's more than he might have that appreciation for it and won't touch that. You know, he'll bury that in the back of his head and more than likely experience a form of shame for even considering that. Treat it like an intrusive thought almost. And I've spoken about my own sexuality before in this particular regard, in the sense that I've had those feelings before and now I've just sort of come to terms with the fact that I may be pansexual. You know, I've had those moments where I've looked at a dude and thought, oh, maybe, you know, but I'm still going to call myself a lesbian because I like the way it sounds. I mean, I've only ever heard it used as an insult by like 14-year-old boys. You know, the term queer. I've never really heard many adults use the term queer as an insult throughout my life. Anyways, Gallup's latest survey data, based on more than 15,000 interviews conducted throughout 2020 with Americans aged 18 and older, found that 5.6% of US adults identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, up from 4.5% in Gallup's findings based on 2017 data. Came back just in time for I want to fuck that man. I want to fuck that. I'm a fucking man. Yep, fuck it. I guarantee you if the event ever happens, I'll probably come on stream and be like, well, that was disappointing. Never doing that again. Anyway, at a time when the majority of Americans support gay rights, more than half a decade after the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage, it's clear that a growing percentage of the US population identifies as LGBT, Gallup's researchers said. What's less clear is why. Is it because of a real shift in sexual orientation and gender identity, or is it because of a greater willingness among young people to identify as LGBT? I would say it's the latter here. It's more than likely going to go into that. You know, my speculation is that, you know, over the past 10, 20 years or so, we've seen a greater shift towards acceptance of queer people in general social discourse. And as a result, more people are coming forward and coming to terms with the fact that, hey, I might be sex or gender diverse, and it's time that I explore that. And I'm going to openly do that because most of my friends are accepting, welcoming people. And what's crazy to me, and I'm going to have to go the route of being a crazy leftist talking head here. What's crazy to me is conservatives using this kind of thing, like the shift in data, the more people identifying as queer, using this as a negative thing, using this as pushing some kind of agenda, when what is wrong with people discovering themselves and being welcoming and accepting of themselves? What is the problem with that? I do not get what the issue is. I genuinely cannot understand. I cannot understand from the perspective of someone whose job it is not to manipulate people into that train of thought. I want to know what's going through the heads of the normal people on the ground floor, not the ones on television who are spreading propaganda. I want to know what, you know, the regular people who are outright queerphobic, why they think it is some kind of a problem for queer folks to be accepting of themselves. I don't understand that at all. I can't fathom it. Conformity for conformity's sake, I agree with that. I think that's what's going on. That seems to be the case. Like, I don't agree with conformity. Trust me. If I did, my room wouldn't be bisexual. It'd just be white, and I'd have a bookshelf with books on it instead of a video game memorabilia shelf. I'm not a very smart leftist, for the record. I don't have a lot of books because I don't read. Yeah, he's very ew. Keep it away from me at the moment. No. You're getting cuddles. You don't get a choice. Consensual non-consent. Cats are a very good model of consent on that note. Why are you so antsy lately? What's wrong with you? I think the antibiotics have literally given him his energy back. He'll keep it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, ultimately it is because it is that, it'll keep it away from me mentality. I don't understand it, therefore it's gross. And that comes back around to the thing we talked about the intrusive thoughts. Like I mentioned before, when I was identifying as a male, there were definitely certain men I'd look at and just sort of, in my head, appreciate from an aesthetic perspective. But there were occasional glimpses of things that were a little bit more than aesthetics in my head. And I think there are other men that experience that very same thing and they are terrified of it because society has told them to be terrified of it. It's unusual. You're not supposed to do that. You've been ordering books that you struggle to get around to reading? I've been ordering clothes. I have got a fit to show you folks next month. I've got a fit. Oh man, I cannot wait. I already showed you my cape. There's a whole costume to go with it. Oh, I'm going to wear it for a video. I don't know what the video is going to be about. But I'm defining a new aesthetic next month. Anyways, capes are fucking cool. I'm bringing them back. I've been looking at more capes and I'm like, I've found some fucking gorgeous ones. I found one that's just like, it's got little cuffs. You wear the little wrist cuffs. And then it's like a long, drapey, lacy thing. So like, it cuffs around your neck, cuffs around your wrists, and it's just like wings. And it's, orgasmic. I mean, I say orgasmic as someone who hasn't had an orgasm in 7 months. So I've forgotten what they feel like at this point. I am going to look so fucking cool. Appreciate from an aesthetic perspective. You follow C9 Sneaky on Twitter for the cosplay, if you know what I mean. I do not know who that is. I'm going to give him a look now, though. Let's have a gander. TOS. Oh, I see. I see. Holy, okay. Good gravy. That reminds me of that one particular person whose name escapes me at the moment. As an example. Anyways. How do these people keep getting away with it? How do they keep getting away with it? How do I not look as good as these men? What the fuck, dude? Why are there so many of them? There's that Minecraft guy. That's a bloke. And again, do I have to bring up hang on. Do I have to bring up Titania again? Mate, how do I reach this level? What the fuck? I don't have this kind of I quit. No, I'm just gonna lean very heavily into the lesbian aesthetic. Cosplay is how so many people get around no porn rules. Anyways, would kiss and hold hands with and feel ambiguously gay. And that's the thing, right? Is like, that's the thing, is like, you look at that, it's like, that's a dude in a costume at that point. And it's clear that they can present in such a way where they are particularly feminine. Now, let's just say, for example, you meet a man who is particularly feminine, but still identifies themselves as a man. And are there men, like I've asked this question before, are there men who consider themselves straight who would look at that particular man and say they find them attractive? You know? And this is where the whole trap mentality comes from. That's a whole difficult discussion. Hard Fem Day and Mirror Shot. Yes, fucking Austin. Goals AF. Gamer from Mars. I swear you already followed anyway. But yes, Austin's fucking boss. Can I show some of my shots? I'm a female. I'm a femoid. Where's my media? Oh, well, here's my favorite. Here's one of my favorite recent looks that I did, which is just me being. This is my most masculine. This is me at my most masculine look. Femoids. This is my masculine look. How do I do you think I pull off dude well in this getup? I forgot about this. Happy pink supermoon lesbian day. Perfect moon for a werewolf to come out. Oh fuck. Anyway. How do I manage to look so good? I just take selfies a lot and then I pose correctly. Androgynous? Yeah, androgynous. Men or women, really. I's a girl. I'm a girl. It's a delightful surprise. Know what happens when werewolves get education? You get werewolves. I took this photo today. I was looking for outfits, but I took this photo today, and honestly, like, I'm happy with this picture. I am very happy with this picture. The only thing I'm wearing there is eyeliner. And I'm like, look at that. I look fucking happy. I'm so glad I get to look happy these days. It's one of my favorite things. Anyways, but like, you know, there's, I tend to routinely post looks on my Twitter. You know. Let me see if I can find a really good one. There's this one, which is a bit risque, except for the fact that I'm wearing a bra underneath it. I just really wanted to show my abs off. I was doing an exercise in the gym that day. I think I was doing tricep extensions. And I was wearing that outfit, so I had the crop top on. I was doing tricep extensions like this. Because you girls got tries. Us, look at that. Oh. Anyway, I was doing those, and I was like seeing myself in the mirror, and I'm like, I need a photo of this position. You know, I need to be able to see my abs like that, because it looks so fucking good. And like, dude. Sorry, but there you go. People are either unaware or aware. Why is no one aware? Glad you get to see me happy. I'm glad too. It's nice. It's a good feeling. And this, I'm just like showing off photos of myself at this point. Anyway, and this kind of spurred the thing, right? This kind of spurred a thing. Yes, capes. That's a gym towel, for the record. That's a gym towel. And I just had a bulldog clip, and I put the towel around my neck, clipped it, and I was just like, yes, capes. And this spiraled into me actually fucking buying a cape. I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait, dude. Do I believe FFS should be partially covered to support trans people who are heavily mentally affected by it? Yes. Yes, I do, because I don't believe that facial feminization surgery is not a cosmetic surgery. Facial feminization surgery is a corrective surgery. So when someone gets that, it's to undo the damage done by testosterone, essentially. How do you get an ass like that? Squat for 4 years? And high protein diet? Yeah, it's reconstructive. It's not cosmetic surgery. What did I say? My thang do be thangin'. Yeah, I keep seeing FFS and I'm like, wait, for fuck's sake, what? I'm trying to find another good outfit. I cannot show that photo, good lord. There was a certain shot that I was not able to show. Also just like this dress and the sword, like, mate. This is elegance personified, you know. Considered not transitioning because it costs more than you'd like to admit. That was one of the reasons I didn't, one of the reasons I put it off for so long, honestly. You know, there was a significant period of time. I found out when I was a teenager, and then, as time went on, let me think, your local sword-wielding lesbian, yeah. Oh, excuse me, what was I saying? Blah, 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 blah. When I was a teenager, one of the things that really put me off transitioning not just the fact that I was, 15 years of age and terrified of the idea of being on medication and getting surgery and all that. It was mainly the cost. It was like, how the fuck would how would I be able to cover the cost of this shit, you know? And yeah, you are valid as trans regardless of whether you actually... And this is the thing, is like you can transition without any surgeries, without any medication, without any of that. You know, you can still transition, you can still opt to transition. And it's your own personal journey. You don't have to be following the steps that every other fucking trans person does. You know? Anyways, I have so many, like, if you follow my Twitter, you will just find that I constantly post my outfits. For example, like, again, we come back around to this one. I love this little dress. I love this teeny tiny little dress. It's too cold to wear this, though, at the moment. I love this thing. It's so fucking cute. My God. It is so fucking cute. And, like, I would wear that to uni tomorrow if I could, but I really can't. It's freezing fucking cold. Trans Twitter is just outfits and lewds, and sometimes nudes. Sometimes nudes. While we're talking looks, please hit me with a look, so I can be shook. I'm just like talking about looks at the moment. We're not even talking about anything. Probably the most masculine your character dresses. Oh, dude. I want that outfit. I just want that outfit. That's bomb as fuck. I could probably pull that off, actually. Not the exact same, but I think I do have, in fact, a grey button-down sitting around somewhere that would probably still fit. And I think I might have some black slacks. I've definitely got boots. Thank you, Barwick, for showing off my most recent video essay. Let me see what else. Yeah, my Twitter is just fits and banger tweets. Why, thank you. Gonna link your sneakies latest cosplay on Discord. Okay. I'm trying to find another one that I particularly like. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here's a good his transition without surgery being NB trans. Not necessarily. The Dragoon outfit for the bunny race looks a bit slutty and you're feeling your character in that look. Also crop tops. Let's talk crop tops. I love crop tops. Look at my crop tops. You can't handle all my crop tops. I've got even more than this. I got tons of crops. I need more. More and more and more crops. I'm trying to find what's another interesting one that I wore. Yas Queen. I do genuinely wish I could go out carrying the sword, though. Like, I'd probably get, you know, into some kind of trouble for having a sword slung over my back. I'm not going to use it, but it looks cool. Like, for the accessorization, can you imagine getting around carrying a sword? People would look at you and be like, that person has a sword. Why does that person have a sword? Crop tops! Fuck yes. Now that's annoying. Alright. I can't find any more fun fits. This one's pretty nice. I do like this one. This is a cute little baby goth look. With a cat in the background who is down here somewhere. There he is. Alright. I'm just going through my fashion. Here. Hello. I'm trying to show you off to the world. Can you please behave? Thank you. Open carrying laws for swords. Make this happen as your Prime Minister. Please do. I would like to open carry an actual sword. Thank you. And then I will take up fencing. I'll do fencing. Vote for Vagabond. Vote Vagabond so we get swords. You can't go anywhere. You are baby. You are baby. You're not allowed to leave. You little cunt. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Anyway. I am, What was I saying? I've forgotten now. Me leaving now. Anyways. Anyways. Oh, I've got myself playing. Why is that happening? Anyway. I am sleepy. I'm pretty tired now. I've been awake for a bit. I've been awake for a minute. A little minute. Teeny tiny minute. Sneaky pick though. Oh, what am I looking at here? There's an ad. Why do we have to have an ad? I don't want ads. E lives. E hasn't posted anything. I am E, an agent tasked with exposing neo-Nazi and eliminating them by any means possible. Recently, a false agent known as Q has been at the center of a plot to unwittingly recruit people. I am E. Good shit. Good shit. Do they have open carry swords in Texas? Don't tell me that. I don't want to move to Texas. Texas is a fucking shithole. No thank you. I don't want to move to Texas. Now, I had someone in mind to raid tonight. Let me see if they are live. I don't think they are. So that ruins my plans. Unless they're just going live, maybe. Bye. To leave. You're not. Oh, that's good. That's so fucking good. Anywho. Yeah, I noticed Doe is live. Rated Doe relatively recently though. Let me think. Ruthie. Did raid Ruthie as well recently. I don't want to raid the same people too frequently. I'm really picky about this shit. Why would you give me the choice? Why would you give me the choice? Don't give me a choice. Don't give me a choice. You know what? I am genuinely disappointed now. The person I wanted to raid is not live. I wanted to raid them. I was looking at Pixel, maybe. Could raid Pixel. Haven't raided Pixel in a while. Should we do that? That'd be fun. Let's go there. Why not? Might as well go there for tonight. Oh, they're in sub-only chat. Never mind. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, sub-only chat. It doesn't say sub-only chat when I'm on the actual thing. What's Carpe doing? We go to Carpe. Or we have got Ruthie there. We got Glitchcraft here. Gory's live. Gory's always fun. How about Glitchcraft tonight? And they, yeah, sub-only chat. What is this nuisance? What is this nonsense? We'll raid Glitchcraft. He was doing something called Dofromantic, which looks vaguely Catan-esque or Civilization-esque. I don't know. I haven't played enough Civilization to make that judgment. I think, you know, it's got hexagons. It's a game made of hexagons. Anyways. Thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. Tomorrow will be our weekly gaming stream, so I don't have to prepare shit. Fantastic. I don't have to do any research before the stream starts. I can just vibe for a bit. I do wish I had just gotten my PS4 in here. We could just do Bloodborne streams, because Bloodborne is just based. Anyways, if you've not already, you know the gist, folks. Follow the socials. That didn't work. I did the wrong thing. Anyway, there's the socials. If you've not already, check those out. Twitter, Discord, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm going to delete the Facebook page. I'm just going to delete the Facebook page. Is anyone going to care if I delete the Facebook page? I don't know. I don't even know if I can delete the Facebook page. I'm not certain on that one. At any rate, you've all been lovely. You've all been fantastic. I appreciate you all being here with me tonight. No, I won't delete Twitter. Don't worry. I'm addicted to that. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Be kind to yourselves and each other. And I love your faces. And don't die. Please.